Hey guys, welcome back to our chakra series. This is a pick a card, and this is for what the third eye is telling you for this week. Well, for whenever you're watching this, because it's timeless. But this is our third eye chakra reading. So for this week, we chose Changkyun, which is his stage name is I.M from MonstaX X over on the left hand side. And then over on the right hand side, we chose Jungkook or Cookie from BTS. And we picked these two for the third eye chakra because we feel like they really embody that chakra. We think that they're very imaginative and they tend to be, kind of visionary. And with some of the quotes that they have, especially in like our chakra deck that we made that we'll be using, that we use in every single one of our chakra videos if you haven't watched them. But with their quotes that they've said, like they're very connected, and they believe like everybody's connected, and they're very good at using their intuition and following their gut instincts. And they're very good at like knowing, to listen to themselves, even when it seems like it might not be, like the norm, quote unquote. So I feel like they're both a little bit out there in that sense, but they're both very like they're practical too. So I feel like they're very, we feel they're very balanced, but we feel like they really do embody that third eye chakra, like intuition, imagination, like that kind of vibe. We have 4 piles. So with these, each one of them, so we have Danny Gum, which is I.M's bear on this one and this one, and then we have Cookie in a little in a cookie costume, and then a Cookie charm as well over on this one. Whichever one of these piles seems to draw your interest the most, I recommend you pick that pile. If you want to watch more than one, you are more than welcome to. We would love it. But we have tarot, we have oracle, we have stickers, charms, and then the last thing we have is our self-made BTS MonstaX X chakra deck, which is a deck that has the members of the groups, and then it has a chakra and then a quote and a lyric from one of their songs on each card. So we'll do that at the end of each pile, but pick whichever one you feel drawn to. But we will, oh, and I almost forgot. So the third eye chakra itself, sorry guys, the third eye chakra is all about intuition, and it's all about imagination and like dreams and kind of those psychic abilities and things that are not normally seen. So kind of like your quote unquote sixth sense is kind of the third eye chakra. The colors associated with it are indigo, like a deep purpley blue, and then purple itself is also associated with it. So a lot of the crystals that you see up there are purple, and they are third eye. There's also some deep blue crystals up there as well. So the third eye is all about governing that intuition and like listening to like your higher gifts and things like that, and like finding that connection. And then a lot of people, their gifts, like their clairaudience, which is like hearing, and then clair knowing, and like clair seeing, like all of that stuff stems from your third eye, your upper chakras really well. So that's kind of what this is going to be about. It kind of has that theme of like, what is that chakra specifically telling you? So again, pick whichever pile you feel drawn to, but we will go ahead and Lena and I will get into pile 1. If you picked pile 1, you picked this cute little Danny Gone magnet, and he has a little book, little studious Danny Gone there. So we have tarot, we have oracle, we have stickers, charms, and we have your cards. So sit tight. We're going to go in. We're going to see what is your third eye chakra trying to tell you. So what we're going to do is we'll start with your tarot cards and kind of see, what's the haps right now, what's going on. We got, and this is the movie tarot. So a couple, like all of the major arcana and the court cards are all different movies that kind of relate to it. So for the first one, we got the Tower, which this is from Pulp Fiction. If you've ever seen that movie. We have the 8 of Coins, or the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Emperor, which is from Scarface. And then we have the 10 of Coins, 10 of Pence. So when I look at these tarot cards, what I see is I kind of read it from past to future almost when I read. So for me, And I know in a lot of our readings, you know, depending on what spirit wants us to do, like they might change that up. But for me, what I'm feeling is like these two go together and these two go together. So for me, what I'm getting is you might have recently gone through a tower moment, or you might be going through one right now in regards to your stability and finances. So kind of like more of your root chakra. And I think your third eye is trying to kind of bring your attention to this and say, like, hey, right now you might be in like a period of building something. So you might be working really hard on like a new career or a new skill. You might be learning new things and kind of putting them into practice to kind of see if you can start growing your finances. So I feel like you might have gone through a tower moment when it comes to that part of your life, like through your stability. So it might be that, you know, you left a job or you lost a job or you have changed your location. So like let's say you moved and then you had to find like a new way, or you're just trying to do something on the side and you're trying to kind of start it up, and you kind of went through, you know, a period of like, okay, well, I don't know exactly what's going on, and I've lost some things that I thought, you know, I needed in my life, but they're not really there, and like I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild after that. Like I feel that very strongly with these two. And then with these two, what I'm feeling is that the reason why you went through all of this is so you can get to this. So with the emperor, it's all about like that inner divine masculine, like that stability structure, like he's like the father figure. So I feel like you're getting to this point of finding like this place of being grounded, and you can see like he even has like red on. But I'm feeling like you're getting to this point of like being grounded and stable, and like in doing so, like in going through this, you're going to come out of it with this 10 of coins energy, which is awesome, because the 10 of coins is all about like living in like the best version of life, really. Like it's all about like stability, family, like abundance, like all of that is coming. So like for me, it's like you might feel like you're right here right now because you know you're kind of going through it at the moment, but the reason for this is to get to this, is kind of how I'm picking up on it.
Hmm. You guys have some very funny guides because they were talking to me while I was reading this, and like basically, um, they said, well, to just sum it up in a sentence, you guys let go of like your, you know, you went through this tower moment to like let go of like any codependencies, things like that, put in the hard work, and now you're, um, you know, you're becoming your own sugar daddy, basically, is what it said, which made me laugh. I was like, all right,
That's
but
hilarious.
it's true. You basically went from, you know, and this doesn't have to be like, and this is not, you know, like your guys are trying to keep it lighthearted because like tower moments can be rough. Like, I don't think this is them saying like, oh, you guys were, you know, mooching or anything like that. It's just that like this could even be some of you are going to be, you know, a big change up was that you can no longer be financially dependent on your parents. And so now you're becoming financially dependent on yourself. And for some of you, this could be like you separated, you know, from a long time partner, and now you're, you know, or a roommate, or, you know what I mean? And you're, you know, embarking on your own adventure now. And basically it's just like they said, it's just a level up. Like you're going from the person that needs to always ask and work so hard for money to being the emperor, for one, who's in like great control and has everything under control, and the 10 of pence, which is like stable legacy. So that's, like I said, again, like they said, you're about to be your own sugar daddy.
So funny. Yes, I agree. I think your guides are very funny. One other thing, I didn't notice this until I was looking at the card when Lena was talking about this sugar daddy right here. But he has this ankh, which is from Egypt. So you might have a connection to Egypt. He's also got the palm trees, and like the background is very Egyptian. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Scarface, so I'm going to go into kind of the symbolism on the card, just in the sense of like what this could mean for you. He also has butter here, which makes me think of bread, which makes me think of Jungkook, because he has that quote that's turned into a meme that's like the "let's get this bread."
Yeah.
Um, but that's on there for me, and like that's about abundance. And then he's got like his drink, he's just enjoying his power. But you might have a connection to Egypt, and I just wanted to point that out before I got into the oracles, that you might need to look into that a little bit. If you're not from Egypt and like you don't plan on visiting there or anything like that, like if you find yourself drawn to Egypt for some reason, it could be like a past life situation, or there could be something there that you could learn about. And I feel like that is important because I was getting drawn to that. But we'll get into your oracle cards. So we have energy scanning as your gift. So I drew cards for each group about like psychic abilities and things that they want you to work on. And this one, you got energy scanning, which is all about like scanning for like auras and different energies, scanning the chakras. So you could be somebody that's really good with reading auras, or you could be somebody that's really good at Reiki healing or doing energy work. So if you haven't looked into that, I highly recommend it. We have, so for what your chakra is trying to teach you right now, we have doubt. And it says, I release the need to know the answers. Hey, that's me. I relate to that.
Call out post.
Yeah, big call out post. We have a time for healing, which is balsamic moon. Very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You actually got 2 moon cards, so lucky you. You also got take time to breathe out. So that rest, calm down. You got play, which says have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious.
Mm-hmm. Why so serious?
Yes, it also makes me think of MonstaX X's song, their new one. Yeah, because he has that part that's like, did I make you anxious? But he's dressed up as the Joker, which is the why so serious.
He actually, in an interview, did the, you can look it up because it's everywhere, but it's like, Juhani does the Joker impression and he says that, why so serious?
Yes. So if you guys haven't seen that, first of all, go check out MonstaX, Fatal Love. It's beautiful album. Go check that out. But otherwise, you know, if you are interested, you could check out Juhani. He's actually somebody that knows how to take things very lightly. And he's actually I.M's best friend in the group. I mean, they're all best friends, but those two are super close. If you are interested, you should check out some of their interviews. They're very funny.
Yes.
We have, oh, sorry.
Really quick, no, you're fine. Just to speak on the lightness, I actually saw today, because I was on Twitter for a minute, where they were saying that they were like, it was a tweet and it was like, I actually want to pull it up really quick. Like it's honest, just because of what we were just talking about and about being serious. And it's about MonstaX, so you know, hopefully you like MonstaX, or you'll tolerate us talking about them for a second here. You know, more.
It is a MonstaX BTS reading, so
yeah. So it's to be expected, but
yes.
Where is it? I was like, okay. As where is it? I know I just retweeted this today. Here it is. It was a tweet from someone that said, I still can't get over how Kihyun, Minhyuk, and Changkyun debate about US election over breakfast while Shonu, Hyungwon, and Juhan watch the music core and dance to Humph. And that just made me laugh. It made me think about like this group and how like you guys need to go into that more of that like Nunu Wani honey energy, and like instead of debating politics over breakfast in the morning, you need to loosen up and dance.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. You have for your chakras, yeah, you have root chakra, garnet, security. To feel more secure, deepen your connection with nature. So that root chakra is really important for this group.
Mm-hmm.
You also got, yes, your throat chakra, vulnerability. So this is sodalite. Showing vulnerability is a sign of strength, which vulnerability doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like cry or like be, you know, like that. That could also be vulnerability with like playing and being less serious as well, like showing that like more vulnerable childlike side of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have, every group has 2 crystals, and I'm going to read them because I am feeling very guided to do so, but I'm going to tell you what they are first. So the first one is rhodonite. This is that new Mystic Mondays crystal deck that I'm obsessed with. And then the second one is lazulite.
So pretty.
Yes. So I'm going to read them. So rhodonite, you probably can't see it that well, but I'm going to read it. It says compassion, yin yang, and fertility. Rhodonite is a stone of brotherly love, the shared connection between all of humanity. Equilibrium is key for this crystal, which has the capacity to calibrate emotions, balance yin and yang, and source energy from a grounded place. It can bring light to emotional scars from the past, transforming them to foster a stable everyday life. Rhodonite helps remove blame from the situation, whether it's pointed at you or someone else. Accept the situation for what it is and learn to forgive yourself with love and compassion in the process. And this is Taurus and Mars. So you might be a Taurus or have Taurus in your chart.
You might have a Taurus Mars.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one, lazulite, it says cosmic serenity and peace. And I know you can't really see it, but the cosmic forces are at play with lazulite, bringing serenity, peace, and tranquility to anyone who crosses paths with this stone. Lazulite comes from the Arabic word lazaward, meaning sky or heaven, and referring to the sky blue color of the stone's surface. It stimulates the third eye, drawing out psychic and intuitive abilities and dispelling worry, anxiety, and stress to promote a clear state of mind. Use lazulite when you need extra strength to heal addictive habits and to give yourself that inner peace against any personal demons. The signs are Gemini and Sagittarius, and then Jupiter is the planet. Which I think those go super well with this.
I think that everyone needs one of those stones. Everyone in the world.
Yes, I agree. For me, I think this just goes right back. Like, this is very cut and dry. They want you to relax. It's really what I'm getting. Like, take that time to breathe out, play, do something fun. Like, let yourself be childlike, be vulnerable, tap into like the side of you that actually stops working for a little bit. Like, it's okay to like put your work down and say, you know what, right now I need to play a game, or I need to dance, or I need to watch something really funny, or I need to sleep, take a nap, or a bath, whatever that may be. Like, I feel very strongly that this group, release that burden of like heavy, like I need to work, because I am feeling very like pulled down right now while I'm reading for you. Like,
Yeah.
release kind of that control that you have over that, because even though it might be hard right now, doing things that make you feel better, that make you more happy, and like that are lighter and like bring your energy back up, like that's going to really help you through this time and like get to that point, because it's very hard to move forward when you've got an anchor weighing you down, like an anchor that's like tied around your ankle. And I kind of feel like this group is very like, you feel very tied down right now, whether that just be because like you feel like you don't know where you're going, or you're kind of like, I just have so much on my plate that I don't really know where to go with this, and like I need to work, I need to work, I need to work, because I need to move forward. Like, sometimes the best way to move forward is to stop. And I know that sounds really like contradictory, but it's true. Because sometimes, like, if you stop for a minute, you can figure out like, oh, I have an anchor tied to me, I should probably cut that out. Whereas like if you're trying to keep going and going and going, you're like, why am I being weighed down? I don't understand. Why is this so heavy? I don't get it. And it's because you need to take a minute to realize like, why is this so hard right now? Like, am I putting myself through this because like I just need to breathe? Or is there something else going on? And I feel like this group just needs to kind of calm down and come down to a place of like, just taking time for yourself is really important.
And I don't mean to like expose us, because I feel like I always do when we do these readings because of spirit. But like, Becca and I are both workaholics. Like, we both love to work. Like, we like, and it's funny because like, we both have that practical side of like, that side of us that's like, well, we're doing readings and we love doing readings, so like we shouldn't get tired from it. And like, most people would be like, what, you think you're doing like so many readings and like that means you've done so, you know what I mean? Like that very practical side, which I feel very much that this group has. So like, especially if you're doing something like this that is spiritual, and you're like, I'm not working hard enough because I need to do more, I need to work harder, I need to, and this could be any creative thing, it doesn't have to be spiritual. But I feel like a lot of the time the work that goes into creative projects is overlooked, especially even by us, like as the creators, because it's been put into this category of like, oh well, that's just for fun. And it's a hobby, it's this, it's that, it's not hard work. Like people think that hard work is going to a 9 to 5 and crunching numbers, and that's or being a doctor or working at a construction site all day in the sun, like, or in rain or snow or whatever, like that's hard work. Like that's someone earning their paycheck, like they deserve to rest. And it's like everyone deserves to rest, because even though like this is quote unquote a hobby and something that we love, it is still work. Like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, well, we could just like suck it up, drink some cold brew, and like pump out 5-6 videos a week and like get it. But I'm like, but then where would the time be for ourselves? You know what I mean? Like, because we could, and I see content creators who do that, and that's great if that works for them. But I know that for like both of us, at least right now, maybe it will be easier like for us, like when we can be in the same place, because it is a little bit harder right now with not being able to be in the same place. But and that could be a thing for you. Maybe right now you can't reach a certain goal because you have limits, like Becca said, there's an anchor, something you need to take care of. But then maybe in the future there's more you can put back on your plate. And so it's just about kind of knowing that balance, and about being like, okay, I am overwhelmed right now, I'm exhausted every night, I just pass out, like, and then I don't feel like I slept at all. And it's about reevaluating that. And we've recently been more like, okay, we're going to do XYZ, but then we're also going to have days where we do nothing, but like, not nothing, but like we do a couple little things, and then like we're going to play games, we're going to like have fun and like do things that, make us laugh, and like watch funny videos, like, because I mean, we had to, basically, for our own mental like well-being. I mean, like it's hard right now, like there's quarantine, which puts a lot of stress on people. There's the holidays coming up if you're watching this in real time, which puts a ton of stress on people. Like life can be stressful. And so it's about, like I said, try like like Spirit is really just wanting you to see, like, it doesn't have to be all work and no play. Like you can still reach your goals by stopping to like breathe and take care of yourself and like have fun and play video games. And I mean, again, like I said, I don't mean to keep calling us out, but I know like since we stopped doing like work, we both had a few realizations and things like that, of things that were holding us back, that we're now like tackling and cutting out. Like, so there is something to stopping and like being able to reassess your situation, because like Becca mentioned, you might not even see that thing because you're so focused on the future that you're not seeing what's around. And so then you stop, you breathe, you figure out what it is that's weighing you down, you be gentle with yourself, you deal with it, you're kind, you let yourself heal, and then you keep going. And then you're going to find that it's so much lighter than when we're dragging it along. So that was my my long spiel.
Yeah, so exactly, like I agree with all of that for sure. What we're going to do is we're going to get into your charms first. I have this little like focus moon that I made a long time ago, and I actually haven't used it for any readings yet, but I felt very called to do it this reading. I know we're going to do some charms. We're not going to do like a ton of them, just because we want to make sure that like you guys, we don't want to make it too long, but I do want to get a couple of charms out there. So we'll see. Oh yeah, well, I lied. Okay,
We'll try.
So we're gonna your guides decided otherwise. We'll get into the focus in a second, but we're gonna just quickly try to get through this as best as we can.
Yeah.
Let's see. They apparently had other plans. Okay, so the first thing is this cute little blue crown here, which it's not focusing very well. There we go. Yeah. Well, anyways, it's a crown. So for me, like, because of this color, which I know you can't really see the color very well, but it's very much a color of like the throat chakra for me. But this is about standing in your power, if you ask me, because it's a crown and it's in that blue. And like you also got the emperor as well. So for me, this is very much about like standing in that power and like being your own sugar daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You got the star. which is all about hope and dreams. And like know that there's hope moving forward. You did get a couple of letters. You got a P and an H. I heard PhD. So if you are somebody that's going after like you're gonna become a doctor, this could be a pile for you. Like you could be going through it right now. I know with the state of the world that we're in when we're filming this, like that's definitely a difficult decision and difficult choice to make. So like if you recently made a choice to do that, like I 100% commend you on that decision. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All I really have to say about that. You got the number 3, which is a divine number. It could also be a life path number or a lucky number for you. You got to the moon and back. Moons might be important for this group. You got 2 moon cards. And I know like we're Moonstar Infinity, right? So like moons are kind of important to us too, but you might have a connection with the moon, and like the moon is all about like intuition and dreams, which again, that's very connected to your third eye.
Mm-hmm.
You got the teddy bear.
Yeah, that's having fun playing with that inner child.
Mm-hmm. You got the palmistry palm, which is all about like spirituality. So, if you're watching this and you do consider yourself like spiritual, again, this makes me think of energy healing because it's the palm. So I feel like this group, like you might be very good with your hands energy wise, but you might also be very connected to spirit, or you might be kind of tapping into that connection recently. If that's the case, like this is kind of encouragement to keep going. Like you might have some gifts that you're tapping into as well, using your intuition. You got an angel, which for me, this is you're very connected to like your guides or angels, or like you're very protected. Like the angels and guides have your back. Like the universe has your back is very much what I'm getting. So like if you are going through a really tough time, try reaching out to like your spirit guides and your angels, because they're always going to be there for you when you need them. You got the butterfly, just about transformation. So you might be kind of in like that cocoon phase, but you're going through this transformation for a reason. Yeah, you're moving forward. You got the little bike with the hearts. So travel is one thing with this, but for this group, I'm feeling very strongly that like you're moving forward, and like it might not feel like it sometimes, but bikes can actually go pretty fast. But I feel like it's one of those things where you are moving forward, and like give yourself that love, because the more love you give yourself, and like the more that you do to make yourself, to soothe yourself and to like actually help yourself process things, the faster you'll get forward, like you'll move.
Mm-hmm.
You got another star. So again, very much about like hopes and dreams. And like with this group, I feel like it's very much your guides are saying like have hope, like it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the heart, which for me, the heart is all about love. Again, like with this group, I feel very strongly like self-love is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then for your focus palm, okay, I'm just gonna leave them on here. You got a cat, and it's pink cat. You might be very connected to cats, like or cats could be a really important symbol to you. They're very independent creatures, but they also, they're very good at knowing what they need and doing what they need when they need it, and they kind of just do what they want. But they're also very curious creatures. So you might need to embody like a cat, or a cat might be important to you. You might have, a pet cat or a spirit guide that's a cat. You have the number 1. So for me, like you are number 1, like you are your number 1. You got M, Z, and U. So those could be initials. Those could bring up some words to mind if you have
Monster.
any words. Monster Z. Yeah. And then you again, self-care, focusing on you. So with this group, like don't worry about other people so much. Like care about yourself. Like I feel like this group is I feel like this group has a lot of healers in it. And with healers, I know we tend to think about other people more than we think about ourselves because, that's what we want to do. We want to heal others, right? But in order to heal others, you have to focus on yourself first. Like
Mm.
that's a huge lesson. You also got the seahorse, which is about like creativity and fertility and, kind of new ideas. I think that you might be doing a creative venture right now that maybe isn't norm, like in the norm, and you might
Mhm.
be getting a lot of ideas. Listen to them.
The yours is actually the one that gets pregnant and carries the babies too. And since we have like the emperor, it makes me think that like this group, you guys might actually like most of the time I feel like we get a lot of groups that need to not listen to their divine masculine because their divine masculine's being like kind of like brute and like do everything, and like your divine feminine's like, but wait, but I feel like actually in this case that um because we have so much about the divine masculine, I feel like they keep showing up. And we're talking about like your inner divine masculine. Like we're not talking about any like twin flame journeys or anything like that. Whether or not you believe in them, it's all your opinion and great for you. But for us, like with this, I feel very strongly that it's more like your divine masculine might have ideas and you might need to root into that stability and listen and calm down, almost because I feel like you guys get very much into your head and like yes that's the ego, but I almost feel like it's more of like you guys go and you sit in your shadow. So you guys go
Mhm.
and sit in the like I'm the worst, I suck, like you know and you don't ever let like because your solar plexus I feel is very connected to the divine masculine as well, and I almost feel like that's kind of a chakra that could use a little bit of like sprucing up, like a little spring cleaning, um, or a winter cleanse if you're watching
Mhm.
this in real time. But just to go through and to like be confident with yourself because that confidence, lights up the ego, and like the ego is not all bad. Like everyone's always like, "Oh, you're so ego, like you're an ego person," and it's like no, because the ego is our confidence. Like the ego is our belief in our shine, our belief in ideas. And like I feel very much for this group like with that seahorse that it is about like your divine masculine with the emperor might be telling you like, hey, I'm trying to help you out and I want to help you like come out of the shadow and back into the sun, because
Mhm.
the divine masculine is the sun and the divine feminine is the moon. So very much like I think they want to like your third eye wants you to create a harmony between them.
Mhm. A balance. You got the cherries, which is abundance. So focusing on your abundance, not in the sense of like needing to, I think you do need to ground. Like, I think that that's something that we're getting strongly, especially with the divine masculine. If you are having issues sometimes when it comes to finances, we can be overgrounded where like you're like overactive root chakra.
Mhm.
But I feel with this group, it's very much a need to ground. Like you might be kind of struggling to hold on to things and you might like feel like you're losing ground. And it might just be that you need to find that time to ground yourself, however that may be, into something. And like focusing on your abundance doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I got to work some more. Like sometimes that can mean like focusing on like, okay, your dreams a little bit, for example. Like you can ground yourself while still thinking about the things that you want from the future. Like there's a balance, exactly like like Lena just said with the divine masculine and feminine. Like there's a balance between knowing like, okay, well, I have to work for what I want, and so I'm just going to keep going and going and going, and thinking about your dreams and thinking about like, oh, I have this really cool idea, I can write this down somewhere, and then like if it sparks something I can do it, and then if it doesn't, then I can have it somewhere, maybe I'll come back to it. Like focusing on your dreams and like the things that you like and that you want, and like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like focus on your abundance in the sense of like, what are your dreams? What do you want? Like, what is your ultimate, like, what are you going for? Not so much like, what do I have to do right now to like work my butt off? Like, it's more about like, okay, well, what do you want in the future? Like, do you want, a family? Do you want to have a career drawing trees? Like, what do you want is kind of the thing I'm getting. And like, the more you focus on your dreams, like a little bit, it'll be a little bit easier to kind of find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also got the horse that's galloping. So for me, like, horses are very graceful creatures. They're very fast and they're very gentle as well. So I feel with this group, like, things may be either moving too fast or moving too slow, or they're just not moving at the pace that you want them to. But the thing is like, if you're gentle with yourself and you kind of let yourself be and like follow those wild ideas, right? Like, then things will move forward much easier. You'll be more graceful as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we had for charms. But we're going to go into the BTS stickers. I'm only going to get a few of them. Let's see if they make me eat my words again. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into these, and then we'll do your chakra cards. But I'm going to start with the one that I saw first, which is Chimmy. This is Jimin from BTS. And he's dressed in his Chimmy costume. So for me, this is very much about like inner child, like being playful. And, it's yellow, which is the color of the solar plexus, which is what Lena brought up. But I feel very much like this is like having that confidence, but, like listening to like your inner child and creative ideas and like, going with those and like being confident that like those are good enough and not trying to like overwork yourself with them, but like letting them come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Yeah. You have, yeah, you have Tata, the question marks. So for me, this is about like, you got that card about like, I released the need to know all the answers. And for me, like, you might be asking a lot of questions right now and you're like, well, I don't know where this is going, or I don't know how to do XYZ, or I don't know, like, why am I having this thought or like this dream, or like, where is this going, or like, what's happening now? Like, I think it's very much about like, you need to kind of let go of that and like kind of just go with the flow. You got the BT21 sticker. So like having a support group is kind of what I get from that. Having people around you that love you and care about you, and that are there to support you. You got Tay Tay and Tata again. This is a very inner child sticker.
Mm-hmm.
You got, I believe this is the Maknae line.
Yeah, it is.
So Cookie, Jimin, and then Tay Tay.
Yeah, lots of, and if you've ever watched any videos of BTS, like not like music videos, but like just them being themselves, those three together are crazy handful, inner childs out running around screaming like kids, and I say that in the most loving way because I actually at very so like I think that's a great energy to have, and I think that that's kind of the energy that you need right now. So like maybe of course it's hard because of the pandemic, so be safe. We can't go to like an amusement park right now and run around with our friends as much as that would be nice, but you can get together and play some type of game with your friends online, or have a pizza party over the phone. Like, it's not the same, no, but it is at least gathering, doing that. And that also gives me like Three of Cups vibes. So like, again, like you had that stuff about the Ten of Pence. So like, I feel like there will be things to celebrate once you start focusing on yourself. And like, that doesn't mean being self-absorbed. Like, self-care is not selfish.
Mm-hmm. I agree. This is Cookie in his little outfit, and he always looks kind of like pensive or like kind of eh. And I feel like this might kind of be like your energy right now. Like, you might be feeling kind of melancholy, or you might just be kind of stressed and like kind of like not really at my happiest right now, and I feel kind of bundled up and kind of like closed off. Um, again, like searching within, like there's nothing wrong with going into hermit mode, first of all. So like if you're afraid to go into hermit mode, like don't be. But second of all, like it's okay to open up too. So like if you have been in a hermit mode, which Cookie is a Virgo, so which is the hermit. So for me, like this is very much about like that hermit mode, and like you might have either been in a hermit mode for a really long time and kind of need to like open up and kind of come out of that a little bit. Or you could be somebody that's kind of afraid to go into a hermit mode. I'm kind of feeling like it's either one or the other. But either way, like hermit mode isn't bad, because when you go inward, like you search for things and like you can find answers that way. But sometimes you can go too far into hermit mode where like you try to find answers and you start getting to the point where like you're not getting any anymore because you're feeling really like blocked off. I'm sorry if you can hear sirens. It's my neighborhood. But like, so it's okay to open up too. Like it's okay to come out of that darkness, like Lena said earlier with the shadow. Like it's okay to come out of that and back into the sunlight. You don't have to always try to search for answers all the time. Like you can give yourself a rest. And one way to do that is to talk to people that you love. So again, being very surrounded by that tribe, by your family, your friends, whoever that may be, in whatever way that may be. So like if you need to do that online, or like if you do have people that you live with that you can spend time with that care about you, like that's very important. Reach out through text, reach out through video, phone calls, like whatever way that you can. But it's okay to open up to people and to let them in to your little hermit world too. Like you don't have to keep everything so hidden, I guess. So like if you feel like you've been kind of like hiding under a rock and like you've kind of been feeling out of touch or like really distant, like it's okay. Like people are always going to be there for you. You just have to reach out. And then you got I believe this is Jin.
Yeah, it's Jin.
But you got Jin. This again gives me very inner child vibes. He's like in an oversized shirt and like he's got like his little cute rosy cheeks and his little ears and tail. Like I feel like you might be someone that could be maybe a little bit shy as well. Or your inner child might be a little bit shy, and it's just about kind of like coaxing them out and telling them it's okay to come out and like play. And then the last one that you have is these three running. So Tata, Chimmy, and then Mang, which is Hobie. So Hobie, Jimin, and Tae. But they're running, but they look really happy. So like spending time with friends, maybe getting out and like doing some exercise or like running around or just like letting yourself be free, I think is really important for this group.
Agreed.
So we'll go ahead. We're going to get into your chakra cards. So we're to the last part of the reading, but we have these cards that we made and they're chakras and they have BTS and MonstaX on them. And then they have like a quote or lyrics from them as well. So let's see kind of what, your third eye wants to tell you with these. We're going to draw, I have it set at 4, but they usually do whatever they want every week. So we'll see how many they set out. So your first two, you got the heart chakra, which is Wonho Hosik. It says, I love you all day. I love you always. So in love with yourself. Thank you for teaching me how to love myself, which is from By My Side by MonstaX. So again, self-love, going in, loving yourself, being gentle with yourself, and like, also relying on others, because the song is very much about like how they'll always be by your side, or like you'll always be by their side.
And this can also even be too about like you're relying on that inner child and letting your inner child teach you how to love yourself.
For your second one, you got the crown chakra. You got Namjoon, and it says your answers are also inside yourself. You just need to find them. And it's a direct quote from Junie.
Yeah, you guys are looking too hard, so you're not seeing what's right in front of you, which is why you have to stop looking, breathe, inner child, and then I guarantee you that you'll be like, oh, can't believe I didn't notice this.
Yes. Okay, and then you actually got 2 more, so they did 5. But your next one is root chakra. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow.
Oh, Ginny.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I know. You got the crown chakra. This is this is new, so Shonu from MonstaX. It says when the time's tactic flip backwards, it completes the ending. We are connected by a thread, which is Destroyer by MonstaX.
Great song. Also, you guys are cheaters out here.
Mm-hmm.
Think peek for next week.
I know. And then you have the third eye chakra, which is Jungkook, and it says, behind that faint smile that looked at me, I will draw a beautiful purple shade. We may not be on the same page, but I want to walk this path with you, which is from Still With You, which is a song that he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like with this group, like I feel like, you may have been in that hermit mode. You may be searching for these answers, but sometimes you have to come out of that shadow in order
Mm-hmm.
to move forward. And like a lot of people think, oh, well, I got to work on my shadow work, or I got to go really deep in and do hermit because I got to find these answers. But you'll find it's a lot easier when you let go and you just follow and go with the flow and like just breathe and take the time to care about yourself and not as much about the answers that you're searching for.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what we had for you for this week. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a like, a comment, hit subscribe. We would love to hear from you guys, what you thought of this reading. Please let us know if you have any questions. Reach out to us. We also do pick a cards for lots of different things, but we've been doing weekly ones, but we wanted to do a couple special ones too, so look out for those. But we are going to go ahead. We're going to move on to the next pile, but we hope that you enjoyed it, and we will hopefully see you guys all next week for the crown chakra.
Final chakra. Bye, guys.
Bye. If you chose group 3, you chose Cookie in the cookie costume.
That's group 2.
Oh, group 2. Sorry, guys. If you chose group 2, you got Cookie in the cookie costume. So this is going to be all about what your third eye is trying to tell you. So we're going to do Tarot Oracle, and then we have some charms and stickers, and then we have our Chakra Series deck that we created that has MonstaX and BTS, and then it has quotes or lyrics from one of their songs on each card. So we'll do those last. But we're going to start with your tarot cards and what they want to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. Sorry. You have the Two of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Magician.
Okay.
So for me, there's a lot of new beginnings going on in this group right now. Like twos are very much like new beginning cards. And for me, like, I mean, I know the Six of Cups is usually the inner child card as well. And then the Magician is all about like manifestation and like, magic in general and like being able to manifest whatever you'd like. This group might be a little bit spiritual. One thing I want to say is that you might be embarking on a new journey right now, especially with this Two of Wands, like this fire energy. Like you might be starting out a new creative project. You might be going through a transition in your life where you're starting a new beginning. And one thing that's really going to help you through this new beginning time is to tap into this Six of Cups, like childlike energy of like, listening to your inner child and going inward and like finding things that make you feel joy and happy and lighter. And like with the Magician, like that makes me think like, believing in magic and like understanding that like you can create anything that you want. So with this new beginning, this is a new start that's being gifted to you that you can break into to doing whatever you want to do with your life. Like whatever choice this is, like this is something that you have free reign. So you have, any option that you want. And it's about listening to yourself and knowing that like whatever this is, you can do whatever you want with it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I was also, the Six of Cups is about nostalgia. So because I do feel like there's a strong connection with the inner child, this could be about doing your childhood dream. Like the thing that you dreamt about doing as a child, looking back on that fondly and being like, so this is how I manifest my future. Because oftentimes as children, if you look back at what we are as children and what we liked, usually you'll find that's where your destiny was most of the time for most people. Like you were doing something that pertained to your destiny as a child because you had no inhibitions. Like, so of course, like, you know, you're like, well, my dream is to be a doctor and I wasn't a doctor as a kid. No, but did you play doctor? Did you like shows about like healing and things like that? Like, did you like to play, you know, Barbie and your Barbie always got sick and went to the doctor, or like your, you know, G.I. Joe or your action figure or whatever? Like, you'll find something that you did as a child usually had links back somehow, some way to your destiny. And it's because as a child we have all the information. Like people are always like, oh, kids are so silly, they don't understand. And I'm like, no, kids are geniuses, kids are smart, kids are tapped into intuition and things that we wish we were still tapped into. Like most people, we develop the ego and the shadow and all these things, like, and so we lose, like we hinder ourselves a lot because of that. But like, you know, it's great for growth and learning and soul growth. But the child is that carefree, they understand, they didn't have societal blocks, they didn't have anything really blocking them from knowing what their purpose was for coming here. So like I actually heard this, and some people find it really creepy and I find it really cool, that they say that if you ask a child anywhere from around the age like 3 to 4-ish, because you don't want them to be too old and you don't want them to be too young, but if you ask them like, who were you in a past life, and you just let them tell you whatever like comes up, they'll actually probably tell you something very accurate, because their subconscious is in the forefront of their mind. Like they don't have a cognitive mind like in the same way that we do. They're running based off their subconscious and their soul. And so that's why like spirit is being very, very, very clear. Like you need to go back to your childhood and be like, what did I love to do? What made me passionate? So like if for some of you that was like, I love to knit, well, maybe there is something about knitting, like creating your own clothes, fashion, something like that. You need to go into that industry in some way. And you're like, well, I actually wasn't that good at it. You're like, okay, so practice, get better. Or maybe you're not going to be the one that makes the clothes, but maybe you know really well how to put an outfit together, so you can be a stylist and you can knit on the side, you know, and then grow your craft. Like, so it's just like that's coming through really strong for some reason. But like I know that there's so many things. There's painting, there's music, but that's really the card that's sticking out to me the most. And it actually is the brightest card in this deck, but it is the one that stuck out to me the most. Is for you guys, what your third eye is really telling you is that intuition is saying go back, regress, and not like regress in progress, but there is such a thing called age regression. So you can seek it out. It's similar to past life regression, but it's about going back into this lifetime. And and I feel like for this group that's really prominent, like if you're like, I don't know what it was that I love to do as a child, if you know, then you don't need to do this. But for some of you, I feel like you're sitting here like, I don't know what I like to do. I like to eat dirt, and like, you know, like I don't know what I did. You know, maybe that's when age regression would come in handy for you, if being like, hey, I want to find someone who does age regression, which is a form of like hypnotherapy, and you basically go back in your subconscious and you pull out things from your childhood that are either affecting you or things that you need to know. And like, you know, in this case, I feel like this is more, so for some of you, this could be age regression to get out of your own way, because I think for some of you, we have that, where you guys get in your own way and you guys don't allow your inner child to take over. And that's kind of why you guys, I feel like this group has done a lot of start and stopping a journey over and over. Like with the X and the infinity, that's what it's making me think of. I feel like you guys, it's like, this is the 8th time I started over and over and over again. And like, I never finish anything. And like, when is it going to be different? And it's like, well, maybe you guys, A, weren't doing the things that you were meant to do. B, maybe you guys have some type of block, some type of, you know, something that's in there that's stopping you. And again, this is why that 6 of Cups is coming out, is because you need to regress, heal that, and then be able so that you can move forward in the future.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let's get into your oracle cards to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what's going on. I did pull a card for every group for what you need to work on as far as like your psychic abilities or like abilities that are associated with the third eye. So for this group, we got creating a sacred space. And for me, one thing before I pull the other ones, I wanted to say, like, not only is this similar, but I feel like if you are somebody who has just started a spiritual journey, this might be a pile for you. Like, this might be a pile where, you know, maybe you're just now starting to kind of tap into like this whole new world of spirituality, and you're like, oh, I've never done this before. And like, maybe you're just starting with like watching tarot readings and like kind of learning how to do that. I feel like with like creating a sacred space in these new beginnings, like that might be a message for some of you guys that you're in the right pile. You got acceptance, which is I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. You got confidence is your key to success, new moon in Leo. You got the great gathering, which is it's all coming together, intuitive hits, and soul tribe. You got for your chakras, you got the sacral chakra, red adventuring, and it says journey. To enjoy the journey, let go of the outcome. And then you got the throat chakra, lapis lazuli, and it says expression. Express your true self. The world needs you. And then there's two crystal cards. I'm going to show you what they are first, and then I'll read them because that's something I was being drawn to doing with all of the groups today. So for the first one, you got this beautiful crystal right here, which is Wavelight. And then for your second one, you got, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it correctly, but it's Cacoxenite. So we'll read the Wavelight first, which is this really pretty green crystal. It says, decisions, flow, and big picture. And it says, see the forest for the trees, especially with Wavelight. Big picture thinking is enhanced with this crystal, allowing you to see beyond the details and gain a better grasp over the decisions you must make. Combining intuition with logic, Wavelight helps you look at all sides of a situation in order to make the best informed decision possible. Clearing energy blockages in the body, Wavelight sustains flow and regulates circulation for a healthy body and deep soul level cleansing. Use this crystal during the new moon to amplify its powers. And this is Aquarius, and then its planet, quote unquote, is the moon. And then the other one, again, is this beautiful yellowish orange crystal, Cacoxenite. It says, interconnection, ascension, and attunement. And it says, Cacoxenite is known to raise spiritual awareness and provide divine connection between the universe and humankind. With Cacoxenite, synchronicities are not just coincidences, they are messages, so pay attention. Become aware of the universe's message as it is constantly communicating with you. Cacoxenite asks that you look at challenges as lessons and wonder, what can I learn from this? Perspective is everything, and with Cacoxenite, embracing positivity and choosing your thoughts becomes easier and easier. And this is Sagittarius, and again, it's the moon.
So really quick before we go into those, I want to say two things really fast. I laughed because we have a friend who is just starting her spiritual journey, and she's in that phase right now of saying that everything is a coincidence. And like, oh, it's just a coincidence because, you know, and so like that made me laugh when we got that card because it reminded me of her. And she's also Sagittarius. So if she's watching this pile, like she knows she should be, she knows she But the second thing is I actually did a reading for my mom the other day, and I had just gotten this deck and I used it on her first, and she got that same crystal. So I think that's funny because my mom was also kind of slowly starting her own spiritual journey. So this pile is probably for people like my mom, because I also gave her a lot of messages about listening to her inner child. So if you're watching this, hi mom. But I just wanted to say that really quick. I thought it was funny because I don't want you guys to think I'm laughing at you. Like, that's the thing. Like, but we've all also been there, like, where we think that everything, like, you're like, well, it could just be a coincidence, and Spirit's like,
Yeah. Like, no.
yeah.
Yeah. We very strongly believe, and like, you don't have to believe this, but for us, like, it's very much a coincidences don't exist. Like, and for me, like, one of the phrases that I've said ever since I was a child is that everything happens for a reason. So I feel like that's very strong with this group. Like, you might be at that point right now where you're just like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Like, it doesn't really mean anything. But the thing is the more you're on your spiritual journey, like, the more you're going to start seeing like signs and synchronicities. And, eventually it gets to the point where you can't really deny it anymore. um, but I feel like with this group, like, you're being called to kind of listen and kind of pay attention and know that, like, if you're on this new path and this is a new journey for you, like, it might seem overwhelming at first, but you really do have the ability to make it whatever you want and to do whatever you want. And like, you don't have to always follow exactly to the line what everybody else says or everybody else does or the advice that you're given. It's all about what you make it, because it's your life and you're your own individual soul, your own individual person. And so if like, if you feel something very strongly, like, you should look into that and you should listen to your intuition and your confidence and you should lean into that. And I feel like with this group, like, you're going to start getting more intuitive hits. You're going to start calling in more people as you go along. So like, you might have some people that are coming into your life right now that you've just met and you're like, who the heck are these people? And they may be like your soul tribe. Or you might need to spend some more time with the people that are around you. Like, if you've met people recently within the past like couple of years, kind of scope that out. Like, if you're feeling really drawn to specific people, or situations or places or things, like, remember that, like, a lot of times that's your intuition. So just know that, like, confidence and like having confidence in yourself and listening to yourself is really important for this group. You have the journey card and then the expression. And I feel with that, like, you guys you've probably been awakening to a lot of new ideas and getting a lot of new thoughts and processes and things that are happening to you. And I think Spirit's trying to tell you, like, open up about these things, explore, like, take this as the journey. Don't be so serious about it. And like, know that, like, it is about flow. And like, yes, there are some things in life that we can't control, and that's okay. But there are also things that you can manifest, that you can co-create with the universe. And I also want to like stress the importance that there were multiple cards in here that talked about protecting yourself and like clearing and like cleansing. And so if you are new to this journey, clearing your space, whether that be by they have like sage sprays that you can buy online. You can get different types of herbs, and you can do like herb saging. You can do essential oil saging. Like, you can do different things to kind of cleanse your energy and like the energy of your room. You can use music to do that as well. Sound bowls are really good for that, or you can just use like protective music. YouTube has a bunch of stuff about like protective music and like cleansing music. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can do that, but there's a space that you need to create for yourself when you are somebody who starts down this path. You're going to need a space where you can go that's calm and that's clear, and that allows you to kind of breathe out. And I feel like with this group, like, that's kind of important for you, is to know that, like, even if it's a small, like, corner of your room that you're like, I'm going to put some pillows and some blankets over here. And then, like, whenever I'm feeling really stressed, I'll go like try to meditate, or I'll go like listen to some calming music or something. Like, if you have just a space for yourself, like, that's like one of the first steps on the journey, is like making that space for yourself and knowing you can go there whenever you need to like cleanse and calm down.
And Spirit's recommending that if you can avoid it, not your bed, because our brain automatically associates our bed with sleep. So for the most part, if you're someone who does a lot of things in your bed all the time and you have trouble sleeping, Spirit's saying to stop doing that, because now your brain is getting confused, and your brain should associate your bed with sleep. And they want you to try and have a separate space. So, like, if you're in a very tiny space like I am, I don't have a lot of room in here. So when I meditate, I kind of have to use my bed as far as being comfortable. So I usually try and like really prop the pillows like really up, or like if you can sit at the foot of your bed, just somewhere where your brain doesn't associate sleeping, because I know for me, if I lay down and do a meditation that's not active breath work where I have to actually be breathing, I'm going to pass out because my brain, oh, I need to sleep. And you can be the most well rested, getting the most sleep person, but when you lay down in your bed, your body goes, oh, it's time for rest. And so then it starts to rest. And so you don't get the, which if you do need a nap, then that's great. But if you're trying to meditate and trying to, work on mindfulness, like it's going to be counterproductive. Obviously seated is usually the best way to meditate, because even some people, like I know my dad can fall asleep anywhere. He can sit in a chair, he can be on the floor. So for him, like as soon as he lays down, he'll just be like passed out. So, but for most people, if you can find somewhere where you can kind of sit up, like spine straight, that's the general position. But if for some reason you can't and you need to like lean or lay down, like that's also really good. But yeah, try to find, the spirit's really pushing to try to find some place that's not your bed. So if you need to meditate or do something like, and a great place to meditate actually to ground is to be outside, like under a tree, but we know if you're watching this in real time, it's winter, it might be snowy for you. So like, please don't freeze, but just be very mindful of that. That was the big message that they wanted to push out there.
Mm-hmm. So that's really, I mean, like, I just feel like this group is very much like, if you're new to this journey, like, welcome. Hello. Mm-hmm. Nice to meet you. We're going to go ahead and get into charms to kind of see what those have to say. And then we'll do some BTS stickers, and then we'll do your cards. So last group, I tried to only do a few charms, but they got a lot. So let's see what they decide to do with this group. We also have, I figure. So we also have this focus palm, and I'm actually, focus, it's not a palm, it's a focus moon, but we'll get into that in a second. But we'll go ahead and look at what charms you got. So for this group, let me actually adjust so I can move it closer to you guys. So for this group, we got Wonder. So again, like, you're on a journey, which LOL, journey again.
Journey twice.
Yeah. So I feel with this group, like, let yourself wonder and be creative and like ask yourself these questions and like explore and like have fun with it. Like, that's like the whole point is not to be super serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
You have time. And for me, like, I heard like it's time. So like if this is new to you and like you're just starting out, like, this is the perfect time. Like, you're ready. You can do this. And like, if it's not new to you and you are on this for like the 8th time and you're like, okay, I'm really going to dive in this time. Like, spirit's like, it's time. Like, you're ready. You're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
You also got breathe. And then any of the numbers that are on these, those could be numbers that are important to you. So if you see those, let us know. You got one charm that was a zodiac. Wow, my brain. We have Libra. And then it says on the back, charming. So you could be a Libra, or, a Libra could be a soul family member that's coming in, or just a sign, in your chart somewhere that you can, like, this is a sign that you could be in the right pile. Like, this could be the right place for you. You have peace. So I feel like this group, again, like we did talk about meditation, but I feel like with this group, that's a big deal because you also have the peace sign.
Mm-hmm.
And so like finding that inner peace and like meditating and breathing, like that's really important. You have a couple of letters here. So you have C and you have S. So those could be initials. Those could make you think of a word. They could be initials for you or for somebody else that's important to you, or someone like a spirit guide that's coming through. CS, whenever I see CS, it makes me think of customer service because I worked in customer service for the majority of my life so far. But so you might be somebody that, works in customer service, or you might be somebody who's on the path to learning how to serve others in the way of like energy healing or doing something in that scope of things. But that's kind of what I think of when I see CS. But again, those could be initials, or they could be something that spawns a word for you.
When I see CS, I also think I don't know why, because it's just really interesting. But I got C.S. Lewis. So for some of you, that could be an author that you really like or that you resonate with. Maybe Narnia was something that you loved as a child, so that could be something to look into.
Mm-hmm. I love Chronicles of Narnia. Great series. You have the postcard that says I love you on it. So maybe some of you are going through a little bit of distance right now with everything that's going on. Like you might have loved ones that are far away in the sense of like physically. But I think that's just a reminder that there are people that love you and support you, especially if you're starting out on a new journey. It's really important that you have that support and know that like there are people that want to care about you and love you, and like it's okay to reach out to them even if they are at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
You have the heart. You have a paw print, which makes me think of familiars or of having, pets are important to you in some way. Maybe you want to be a vet, a veterinarian, or maybe you just really love dogs or really love cats or animals in some way, or maybe maybe you work with animals or you want to spiritually, and that's something that you're interested in, and that's something that you've loved since you were a child.
Mm-hmm. Also, animal spirit guides. I wanted to say about that heart. It's like a minty, like green color, so then that's heart chakra. And I noticed that it's like half full. So for you guys, I think opening up that heart chakra is something that's really important and pulling out things that are stuck in there that are keeping you stuck.
Mm-hmm. I agree, definitely. You also have the moon that has the wings and the crown that's the same color.
Mm.
So the moon's all about like intuition and dreams, and like I feel like your dreams, like those are the thing that like I feel like with the crown that's all about like royalty, right? Like giving it priority. So for me with this, like you have some amazing like magical dreams, and like you have your intuition, and those things are, super important, and like you should pay attention to them
Mm-hmm.
because like those are going to take you places, and I feel like it's about kind of seeing that and knowing that it'll be fast too, because with the wing, like I see that as fast movement. Which, what did I say, you also have a wing. So again, fast movement, like birds can be important for you, or just, in general, like you might be kind of taking off right now. Like you might be learning a whole bunch of stuff right now and things might start picking up for you. And like it's just a matter of like sticking to those dreams and like following your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah, so you might be kind of all over the place, or you might feel like you're kind of frantic, or kind of like like your brain is moving really fast. Like I can't even get it out. Like you might have a lot going on right now because you're going through all of this new stuff, and you're like, oh gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. And like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because the thing is like when you're introduced to all of this stuff and it starts bombarding you and you start getting like all these signs and symbols and synchronicities, and you're like, oh gosh, what is going on? Like, take the time to breathe again, because I feel like that's very strongly needed for this group, is like breathing, meditation, finding a calm space. But I also feel this very high energy as well. So for me, like, knowing that it's okay to kind of be like overwhelmed, but also taking that time to breathe through it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the flower, which I see as abundance.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like you guys are blooming.
Blossoming into a new you. And then I saved this one for last before we get into your focus because it's really cute. It's a little Mickey key. And so again, like your inner child is going to be the key.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Okay. So I'm going to get into your focus moon here. Put that down. So you got a C again, actually. So that's interesting to mention because you have the C. with the little diamond. So again, C might be an initial for you. If it is, hello, you're in the right space. Or it could be, somebody that you're manifesting, or maybe, like that brings up a specific word or an ancestor's name or like your pet's name or something like that.
I'm hearing compassion when I look at that. So having compassion for self.
Yes. You have simplify, you have a T. I feel trust is coming in with that, like trusting yourself. Oh, yeah, pretty. Okay. Okay, there we go. You have a T. So for me, again, that's all about like trust, trusting yourself, simplify, like don't overthink things, don't make them more complicated than they need to be. Like let yourself kind of breathe and just go with the flow. Don't force anything. Like keep it simple. You have this is actually in France. This is a monument that's in France. But it's for me, you might have some connection to France in some way. Or this could be a monumental time for you, is kind of what I'm hearing. But if it is a connection to France, like if you're from France or you want to visit France, or you have ancestry in France, that's a thing. Or it could just be that you have a past life in France that you need to look into, or something like that. So keep that in mind. But I feel like this is also talking about like it's a monumental time for you. This is a new start, a big time. Like this is important, and like you should celebrate the fact that you're starting something new, and like be excited about it.
Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to add before we finish here, two things. One is that the fish means that you could be a Pisces, for one. That's one. But the other thing that I wanted to add is that fish actually reminds me a ton of the rainbow fish. And I don't know if you've ever read that book, like when you were a child, but it was one of my favorites growing up. And I really loved that book. And like the core message of that book is really simple. It's about like sharing, and that like, sharing makes us happy. Like it's the most, so for me, this is about like, you had that card about sharing yourself because the world needs you. And so right now you might feel like, oh, well, I have to keep all this to myself because no one's going to care about what I do, and they're not going to like it, and they're not going to like me. And like, basically like, you're this beautiful rainbow fish and you're swimming around in the sea, and spirit's like, hey, share your gifts because you have so much to offer. Like the world needs you. And you're like, no, nobody needs me. Like, and you're like covering up your like pretty scales is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. And they're like, no, take off the coat. Like, I mean, the rainbow fish was someone that was really pretty and knew that they were pretty, and then like found that they ended up liking to share. But I'm getting more of this message here that you guys are more reluctant to share your rainbow. And so spirit's like, no, share your rainbow because your rainbow is beautiful. Like you are a unique, beautiful, glorious little rainbow fish, and you need to let yourself shine and sparkle because that's going to help other people. It's going to help yourself. And you're going to find that when you actually share your own beauty, you invite other people, A, to do the same for themselves, B, you become happier, and C, the world does become a better place. So that was the big message that I was getting from your terms.
Mm-hmm. Also with the star, that's about hope and dreams and moving forward and like having hope in your dreams. And then with the cat, again, like I feel like you're very connected to animals. So again, like you might have a pet cat, you might have a familiar. Look those up if you don't know what a familiar is. But you might have a spirit guide that is a cat, or you might, it might just be another nod that like if you are looking at doing stuff with animals, like that is a calling for you.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into your BTS stickers. If you see anything else with those charms, let us know. We always love to have some comments down there.
Mm-hmm.
So here we got a couple stickers that were the same as the last group, but we will look here. Take them out. I'm going to start with this one. So again, like this is Jungkook with his puffer jacket here. And for me, like again, like Lena was talking about with the rainbow fish, like you might be trying to like cover up everything and kind of keep it hidden, and you're like, no, I don't want anybody, like I'm good. I don't need to share. Like I'm fine. And I feel like spirit is like, stop that. Like share yourself here. me move these so I have them closer. Okay. You have Koya. No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm. You guys are like, no, 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 no. No one needs to worry about me. Don't fuss over me. Like, I don't need anything. And Spirit's like, please stop.
Yes. You have this one came out in the last group too, but you have Chimmy and Tata and Ming. So that's Jimin, Tae, and Hobie. And they're like running, but they're happy. So for me, like that's kind of like this inner child feeling, but it's also about like going on your journey and like expressing your happiness and your joy and like finding those things that make you happy and like being vocal about it and just expressing it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I'm being called to share this, but I kind of feel like similar to group one. So if you felt drawn to group one, I would definitely watch it. And but I don't know if you know recently, but it was Jin from BTS's birthday just the other day. And he had like called Yoongi to like, what do you want to say for my birthday? And Yoongi told him like more or less to grow up. And he was kidding. So like no one go attacking Yoongi if you're Jin stan here, okay? And then like, Jin was like like I think he was actually a little hurt by it, but he was also like, but he also knows that Yoongi was joking around too at the same time. And then with Junie, he called Junie right after that, Namjoon, and he said that that he's right, about like growing up. And Jin was like offended. And then there were people in the comments that were telling Jin, like, no, you don't need to grow up. Age is just a number. And I actually really love that about Jin, that he is very in touch with that inner child and that like, that sticker that you not I'm sorry that sticker that crystal that you got, the coxonite, was a Sagittarius moon sticker, and Jin also wrote the sun moon. So like there's lots of synchronicity here with Jin. But I feel like, for you guys, it is about like letting yourself like go wild and, and not like in a, again, responsibly, please, like don't go out to a club. Like that's not at all what we're saying. Like in a pandemic, please don't, if you're watching this in real time, but just letting yourself have that fun. Let yourself be young. Like don't think that like, oh, I'm X age, so I need to grow up, or I can't do that thing that I love to do as a child. Like, because I'm not a kid anymore. Like if just as an example, like if you're a kid and you still love to collect Barbie dolls, who cares? It's your house, it's your stuff. I mean, sorry, if you're not a kid and you're an adult, you're like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 9 million years old. Like how did you get that old? But but if you're however old you are, it doesn't matter, or however young you are, if you still like things from like I know people who still collect Pokemon cards. Like there's nothing wrong with that if that makes that person happy because they like to have a collection. And I actually think that's a thing that people say too. It's like, well, like mine's not really anything valuable, like Pokemon cards might be valuable someday. And it's like, right, but why does it have to be valuable? Like why are you putting, like, does it make you happy? And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from you guys, is like, I love that Jin to this day still plays MapleStory and is very happy about the fact that he spends a lot of his money on MapleStory. Like he says it all the time. He's like, they take all my money, but he lets himself be young. He lets himself hang out with the Magne line of their group, which means like the youngers of their group, and have fun and like act wild and like, and I love that about him. Like I think that's such a great quality that he has. And I think that's something that this group really needs. You guys need to let yourself do that. You need to let yourself do that without shame. I was actually talking to my therapist this week about how shame is one of the biggest components of depression and anxiety, because we live in a shame culture where everything that we do, everything that we say is scrutinized and shamed. And we're slowly starting to come out of that, like where we're teaching kids to be proud of who they are, to dress how they want, to look how they want, and not judging them. But that doesn't mean that we don't have current adults that were affected by that. And so I feel like you guys need to, basically what I get most from this group is please stop shaming yourself.
Yeah. And then I did put the Jin sticker out there. It's really cute. It's Jin and he's got like a mouse tail and like little mouse ears. And like it's very inner child vibe. And like Jin is the funny thing about, I laughed because when he was talking to Namjoon, he said, "Did you know that Yoongi told me that I needed to grow up?" And Junie just said, "Bro, he's right." And I was like, but I mean, it's one of those things where they're joking because they know that like that inner child is really important. You have, this also came out in group 1. So this is Tata with the question mark. So you might have a lot of questions right now. Like you might be kind of like, what the heck is going on? Like, what is happening with my life? Like, where am I going? What is all this new stuff? Like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. And like, you know, I think it's very much about like, just kind of follow things. So like if you get an inkling that you need to, I don't know, draw something or play music or run around the park, like whatever you're getting these inklings for and these questions, like research them, go deeper. Like usually those things are coming up because they want to be explored.
And again, if you go outside, because a lot of people are back in lockdown, please do so very, very safely. Wear a mask, keep your distance from people. I know it's like pretty, it's said that it's safe to like go out in nature, but again, still be careful, please.
You got RJ with amazing. This is Jin's Stuffy, his character, BT21. So for me, like, and it's pink, which is all about like heart chakra for me. So this is very much about like, you know, I think this is like spirits like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Like you're going on this journey, like you're starting out, like everything is amazing. Like I think it's really like, you know, let yourself be hype. Like let yourself be really excited. Let yourself tap into that inner child and like explore and have fun. Like it's not supposed to be heavy. It's not supposed to be like, you know, super stressful all the time. Like it's very much about like tapping into like that fun stuff and letting yourself do that. You also got the Sunday.
Yeah. Letting, let life be wonderful again is basically what I'm getting. Like look at it through a child's eyes.
And to finish that up, you have, is that Yoongi in Snow White, or is it?
No, it's Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay. Okay. So you have Tay-Tay Snow White costume with an apple and he looks perplexed. But then you also have Jimmy here with these 3 cups, which makes me think of the 3 of cups, like working with other people and like finding emotional fulfillment with others. Like I feel like if you are kind of feeling like this, where like your inner child's kind of like, humph, like you haven't really let me explore and I want to do all these things, like, you know, I feel like again, like tap into that inner child. Why do they feel that way? And what can you do to make them happy? Like what can you do to make yourself happy and have fun? And like with this, like Jimmy is having fun, but with the 3 of cups, like that makes me think like sometimes, you know, you might have to reach out to other people for that too. Like you might have questions and you might need to reach out to people that you trust to help you through that, or you just might need to reach out to people to have a good time, like whether that be through Skype or Zoom or whatever you use, whatever service, online or through social media or over a phone call. Or if you do live with people, like again, be safe about it. If you don't and you do want to meet up with people, be very, very safe. But, you know, be open with people and like also understand like there are people for you. Like you got that charm that says I love you, that was a postcard. So for me that's about like, you know, it's okay to work with other people. You also got the card about like your soul tribe too. So it's okay to lean on other people and like to be like, hey guys, I really want to have some fun tonight and I want to hang out. Like sometimes it's just that simple.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's what I had from the stickers. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to draw some of our special chakra cards that we have. I've been saying 4, but group 1 got 5. So let's see what they give you guys. Sometimes they just kind of do what they want, but we'll see what they want to tell you. Okay, so first 2.
Always do what they want. Their spirit.
Well, yeah. We got throat chakra, which is Kihyun from MonstaX, X, and it says, it's natural to be upset or sad, so don't blame yourself, just find a way to better slowly. And that's a direct quote from him. So if you do find yourself feeling down, like there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to accept that feeling and to say, you know what, today I feel a little sad. And like that's okay. And to like kind of let it be there, especially if you're just starting out with like shadow work and like doing things, working through old traumas or working through, new mindsets. Like it's okay to be like, okay, well, I'm a little sad today. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like you can let that be there. And then if you want to on that day, like if you're like, you know what would make me feel better if I went and got some ice cream and I watched a funny movie, like then do that. Like find your way to better slowly at your own pace. You also got Third Eye Chakra. This is I.M Changkyun. I just want to focus. You should never let the sunrise squander. And that's actually from his song Horizon. With that, like that's about like not letting things pass you by so much. It's about like enjoying those small moments and kind of, letting yourself be there and be all there. So like focusing on like the present moment is really helpful, especially if you're on a new journey. But it's about kind of like having those sunrise moments where you can let yourself be there and watch that sunrise. Let's see what else they send you. Oh, yeah. Okay. So they did send you 4. They sent you, yes, this is funny. Okay. So you got heart chakra, which is taken. It says, when things get hard, stop for a while and look back and see how far you've come. Don't forget how rewarding it is. You are the most beautiful flower more than anyone else in this world. And that is a quote by Tay. So again, you have that beauty inside you. And like, look inside and like know that like you are enough, you're worth it, and like your gifts and like the things that you have are special and they're worth sharing. And then I laughed because this was your last one. It's root chakra, it's Jin, and it says, why did I want to hide my precious self like this? What was I so afraid of? And that's Epiphany.
Eve, I forgot that we had that quote in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our group of little rainbow fishes.
Uh-huh. It sure is. And like he finished it. Like I can't make this up.
Nope, can't add it anymore.
So again, like, tap into that inner child. Let yourself be free and have fun and, go with the flow. And that's really our advice. And like if you do want more advice in that, or if you want to reach out to us, like we have our contact information below. We always, can do readings for you. We can, we do coaching as well. There's a lot of things that we do. So if you want to, you can reach out to us if you want someone to talk to about it. But otherwise, if you want to watch one of the other piles, I recommend pile 1 if you haven't watched it yet, because you do have some synchronicities between the two. So you could check out pile 1, or if you're drawn to 3 or 4, you can try one of those as well. But we hoped you enjoyed it. So leave us a like, a comment, hit subscribe, let us know what you thought. But otherwise, we're going to move on to pile 3.
See you guys later.
If you chose pile 3, you chose this little Danny Gum pin here. Don't mind my quarantine nails. But he's got a little magnifying glass. He's really cute. He's like a little Danny Gum detective. So if you don't know, Danny Gum is MonstaX X's I.M Changkyun, his bear that they have, because they each have a bear. So that's who he is. We are doing your reading on what your third eye is trying to tell you. So we have tarot, we have oracle cards, we have charms, stickers, and then we also have our actual oracle deck that we made. That's it's a chakra deck with MonstaX and BTS, and then a lyric or quote from one of them on each card. I'm having issues speaking already, so I can tell you this group, like you might have some issues with your throat chakra. Whether you need to drink more water or you need to express your truth in some way, whatever that may be, you might be finding that lately you have some troubles communicating. And that could be because your throat chakra needs some work. So like, that's something that I wanted to mention right away. But we're going to start with your tarot to see what they have to say. Okay. So the first card is Temperance. No, sorry, the Magician. I read it wrong. My bad. I'm telling you, man.
I was like, that's not temperance, but maybe.
No.
card that you need to think of, which is patience. So what I'm getting from that, Becca, is Spirit is saying, slow down, read slowly.
Yes, you have the Magician. You have the Hierophant. Look at that third eye.
I was going to say there's third eye references in the Magician too, because there's that indigo color behind the Magician's head.
You have the Star. And the reason why I said the Hierophant is because I saw this. Not the Hierophant. Here we go. I can't. Temperance. I'm telling you, throat chakras, man. Okay, so I might not be the only one that needs to slow down. You might be getting some information a little bit jumbled. If that's the case, maybe it is time for you to slow down and breathe for a second. First of all, because I'm getting very I feel very high energy right now. Like there's a lot of energy, but it's kind of chaotic. Is kind of what I'm feeling. And I also wanted to mention that all 4 of these are major arcana.
Yes, I was going to say that too. I was like, all big major arcana. So you guys are going through a lot of life changing right now. That's usually what it means when you get a lot of major arcana. Also tends to mean that you guys have a lot of power around you right now. So first of all, your own power, but then your spirit team is probably really close to you right now because you're going through a lot of shifting. Mm-hmm. And what I'm getting from these cards really is that well, first of all, my throat is getting tight as I'm talking, so I think you guys definitely need more water, but it also, again, could be about speaking that truth, or again, sticking true to yourself, because living your true purpose comes from your throat chakra. So if you've been doubting yourself, or not saying it is, or keeping your stuff in the dark, I feel like it's time to put it out there. Go into the not into the light of the go into the light, but go into the light as far as put your stuff out there into the universe, send it out. And this is a super old song. This from Bridge to Terabithia, I think, which very sad but good movie. I believe it's in that movie. At least if not, then the person who wrote that song also wrote this song, but it's called This Is My Idea of Heaven, and it's about being with another person. But for me, it's I feel like this is about you guys finding your idea of heaven, living your purpose. And I feel like with your cards, it's very much talking about how you have been the Magician and the Hierophant. You have all the tools you needed. You're ready to teach. You have hope. And now, right now, you're in the keep hope, because right now this is about divine timing, because that's what temperance is. So it's you have everything you need. You're ready to teach. You're, basically right now your third eye is just saying, as much as we all hate it, slow down, be patient, but put your stuff out there. You have everything you need, and now you need to promote yourself. And I think that's the hardest thing that people come to terms with, is being hey, I'm doing this new thing, and I really need to push and put myself out there to see growth, because we're afraid, right? And we're oh, I don't want to ask that person for a favor because I don't want to seem pushy. And it's right, but we have to. And I hate doing promotion for myself too. So I'm not saying this as I struggle with it, because I don't like asking people for things. I get nervous about what they're gonna think, and so I get that vibe too from this group. But you need to, because I feel like for this group, you guys have been on this journey for a while. You have a project or something, or even if it's not it's not done yet, maybe you need help and you need to go out there and ask hey, I'm trying to write a book and I need someone to beta read for me, or to just to kind of see how the story's going. Or I'd love someone to, or I'd love a writer friend who's also working on a book, so we can keep each other accountable. That type of vibe is also coming through. But I feel for a lot of you, you guys have actively been working on the thing that you're going towards, but you're reluctant to really share it and put it out there. And that is the big message from your third eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have that magician and the Hierophant, which the magician's all about like being able to create magic and create whatever you want. Um, and then you also have the Hierophant, which is all about like knowledge and like sharing your knowledge and learning new knowledge and like, being open to knowledge and learning new things. You have the Star, which is all about hopes and dreams. And then you have Temperance, which is about patience, which is my least favorite word in the entire world. Um, and divine timing. So, but one thing I wanted to mention is all of the colors of these cards. So Mystic Mondays, I mean, there are a lot of really bright cards in Mystic Mondays deck as well. But for me, like these are all very third eye and throat chakra centered with like little pieces of the heart chakra like sprinkled in.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like those might be your chakras that you work through a lot. Like those might be strong chakras, or they could be chakras that you need to work with right now. Like you might be going through something that is, that you need to focus on these three chakras specifically. Like that might be really important right now, while you're going through this and while you're in this waiting period, and like while you're dreaming and doing all of these things. Like having that hope and like that patience and stuff can be very difficult, and it can be really hard on specific chakras. And one thing about the third eye chakra is it's all about dreams and intuition and magic. So, it's very much like I feel like this group either has a very, very, very strong third eye, or a third eye that needs a lot of attention, or both, personally. But again, like, you know, we've been kind of reading. Spirit sometimes tells us to read things in certain ways, and for the groups in this reading, we've been reading kind of like these two are together and these two are together. And like Lena said, like you already have the things you need and you've already been doing it. Like you've already been putting yourself out there and you're already ready and you already have everything you need. And like I feel like with this group it's more about doubt than anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with this group it's mostly about like you've been doing this and like you're having issues because you have to wait. And like that wait is causing you to kind of lose a little bit of hope because you're like, well, I'm not seeing anything. It's not moving as fast as I want it to, or like things are not happening the way that I want them to. And like it is about divine timing and it is about hope. And like it's not easy. Nobody ever said it was, and like that brings to mind the song The Scientist by Coldplay,
I was
which is
just
yeah, one of my favorite bands of all time. And I actually heard that song this morning. But you know, it's there's been this theme throughout our readings today that has been very much like a don't take this as seriously as you're taking it, like lighten up kind of a feeling. And with these cards, they're so dark in that indigo color that like I almost want to just be like, you need to find something to pull you out of like this, like I almost feel like you're in like this deep funk, like a little bit of like you kind of dipped a little bit in your energy, and like even though you feel high energy and like there's a lot of energy around you, I feel kind of like you feel a little bit isolated in this like bubble of emotion, or like this bubble of like not necessarily doubt, just kind of like you're overwhelmed is kind of what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, your guides are saying that the type of funk that you need to be in is the BTS Dynamite funk, because the shining through the city with a little funkin' soul, and also
Yeah.
that part says, "This is getting heavy. Can you hear the bass? Boom, I'm ready." So it's like, oh, again, it's saying like lighten up. Like if you feel heavy, like maybe turn on that song, because that, or just any music that makes you feel good, and like get up and dance. Like I know it seems silly, but like we've both done this and it's helped. Like we feel like crap, we get up, and again, like this is not, don't do this to avoid feelings. If you have feelings that you need to feel, then feel them. But if you're just like, I don't really, like I'm just kind of in a stuck energy, like I've already like, done a lot of shadow work today and I don't want to keep feeling like this all day, you know, um, that's when you turn on the music and you're like, okay, we're going to turn this on. We're going to breathe. We're going to dance. We're going to laugh. Like, actually, I went to go take a shower earlier and I have no idea why. And like, I just kind of like, this is completely super personal. So thanks for making me share this, Spirit. But I've been working on like my own body image. And so I was kind of like looking at myself in the mirror and I was trying to just like be okay with how I look. And then like I just started singing this like really old song. Like I don't even know who sings it. I just know the song. And it's like it's that song that's like, why do you build me up like a baby just to let me down? And I was just singing that in the mirror and like dancing around like in before I was like getting in the shower, and like again only to find out that my hot water heater was not on. So like that's fine. I had to take an icy shower. Thanks, Spirit. But you know, the point is that like I was able to kind of like just for a minute like get out of my head. And then I stopped looking at when I was doing that, and I was just dancing and laughing and like looking in the mirror and like being a complete goofball. And then like my conscious mind kind of kicked back in at some point and was like, what are you doing? But like for a minute, my inner child and my subconscious and my soul took over. And it was very much like that. You know how they said that before like the shame came in, like as far as the Bible goes, which again, if you're not religious, like, you know, I'm not pushing a religion on you, I'm just giving you an example. You can take it as you want. But if you remember, they said that Adam and Eve didn't even notice that they were naked before that. And I kind of had that moment of like, I didn't even really notice that I was standing in my like, you know, bra and underwear, looking at myself in the mirror, just dancing while I was waiting for my shower to warm up. Like, and I was just having a good time, like vibing out and not worried about how I looked for just like, you know, a good minute. And I was like, wow, like I look like I'm having fun. I'm really beautiful. Like, you know, that's kind of more of what my energy was feeling like. And I feel like that's something for this group. Like, you guys need to appreciate, and for some of you, it really could be about your looks and your beauty, but it could be also about your work ethic, about the things that you've been doing, and getting out of that energy again and just dancing to whatever song you need to, or, you know, doing something, whether that's playing video games or painting or drawing or anything that's going to shake you up out of that energy and make you like pull yourself out of that critical mind for even just 5 minutes. Even just 5 minutes of not hearing from that critical mind a day. And meditation is also coming through in that sense. Super powerful for this group. So yeah, like I said, super personal story. Thanks for making me share that one, Spirit. But there you go.
I feel like with this group, like it's hard because we try to keep these as short as we can. But I feel like with this group, it almost seems like you guys need just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So excuse us if we go a little bit longer, but we do have oracle cards for you. I'm feeling called to mention this, so I will. My favorite crystal actually is right here. This is my favorite crystal of all time. It's a man-made crystal, but it's called blue goldstone. And if you look at it, it looks like it's a galaxy. It's gorgeous, but this crystal is really good for your third eye. It's also really good for obviously your intuition because that's your third eye, but it's good for like protection, like psychic protection. It's also really good for like motivation. It's man-made, but it has so many different qualities to it that it's my favorite one to meditate with because it unlocks like so much stuff, but also because it's very protective and like it is very nurturing. So I feel like I'm being drawn to share with this group this crystal. And again, this is my favorite crystal of all time. I have this in a pendulum that I use on a daily basis. But if you haven't seen blue goldstone before, I definitely recommend, going online. Etsy sells it. You can find it in a lot of different shops. It's not super expensive. I think this palm stone was probably like $10 maybe. So, if you are interested, I definitely recommend. Anyways, with that, we're going to get into your oracle cards. And I'm laughing because your first one. So, okay, I drew cards for each group that have to do with your spiritual gifts and like your like what psychic gifts you have, because with the third eye, it's all about kind of like that psychic gift, like your intuition, your higher gifts, like your sixth sense, like that kind of stuff all comes through. So I drew some with like what your gifts were, and they made me do two for this group. But the first one is the one I'm laughing at because it's reaching out to spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at those colors, they're exactly the same. And we just talked about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, yes, I agree. Meditation, super important for this group. And again, your top upper chakras here, like your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. Super important. all of your upper chakras, super important right now. So if I feel like this group probably has already balanced a lot of their chakras, but I feel like right now, like what's being called to my attention is that you need to focus on your upper chakras right now if you are feeling anything kind of out of whack. Like I feel like all of your upper chakras, like they might not be like blocked, but I think that they need to, you might need to kind of cleanse them and like balance them out and kind of, nurture them a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting this image of kind of like where you buff and polish them a little bit. Like they might not be super blocked, but they might just be a little dusty, need a little wipe down, like that type of thing. Spiritual rinse, spiritual bath could be really good for you. Looking into that. I don't have a bathtub where I currently live, so spiritual showers, which work just as well as a spiritual bath. Of course, I love a bath. So if you have the ability to do a spiritual bath, I highly recommend looking one up because they're really great for cleansing out your chakras and your energy.
Definitely. And then the other gift they have is psychic touch.
Okay.
So with psychic touch, it's actually really cool. I have not delved too deep into it yet, but I've been told that I have psychic touch. But basically, what it is you can touch items or other people or things like that, and you can get intuitive hits by doing that. So, like for instance, someone can bring you an item from a loved one that's passed on, and you can get intuitive hits off of that item, or you can find a lost item and you can say, "Hey, I got a hit that this was from France from 1560, 80, whatever, whatever that may be." But I don't know, that's a really random time. But, and that's why there's a locket on here too, is because like you can touch objects, you can touch other people and like get these hits. So kind of like That's So Raven, but like you touch things and then you see them. So, that might be a gift that you have that you can unlock. And that might be something that you can look into. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. I know that meditative states help with that as well because you learn how to unlock that intuition a little bit. So that might be something that you're being encouraged to do, or that a gift that you may not know you have, that you could start to explore that might help you kind of connect a little bit more with your upper chakras. For what this group is learning right now, it is gratitude. And it says, "I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents." Again, look at the colors. Can't.
Yeah.
You have faith in your dreams. And then you have Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. And with this, Akashic records. If you don't know what Akashic records are, I highly recommend doing some research and looking into them. But we also offer Akashic records readings. It's kind of new. I just got trained on how to do it. So, if you want, we can talk about doing that. I need more people to practice on a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, reach out, let me know. But Akashic records are basically, it's like the library of the universe, basically. And so it has everything that's happened from the past to the future to the now. Like it's everything. Anything that's, ever happened or will ever happen in the universe is somewhere in the Akashic records. It's like a big giant, like filing system, universal library of knowledge. And so what happens is you can tap into that and you can go into these Akashic records through meditation. And you can pull information. So if you have certain questions or you need to know more about like past life stuff or, what's holding you back in your present life or like blockages or things like that, like it's kind of similar to past life regression, which I know we also offer that because Lena's trained in past life regression as well. But we do that as well. But I know that Akasha is very similar to that in the sense of like you go in and you find this information and you can bring it back and it'll help you understand things so that you can heal them most of the time, or you can have this knowledge. So like, for instance, if you have psychic touch, you can say, "Hey, spirit, I want to know how the heck do I tap into this?" And you can have somebody go into your Akashic records and say, "Here's all the things that I got about how do you tap into this psychic touch. Like, here's what I can tell you about your gifts. Here's how you used it in the past or how you've unlocked it before. And like, here are some methods to do that." So like Akasha could be very important to you because it is about like being guided, but it's also about the Akashic records.
And if you feel like, for some people, maybe they're like, no, I don't want you to know what happened in my past, like, and you feel uncomfortable with it, you have the access to get into your own Akashic records. So you can find a course, or there are free meditations on YouTube where you can then go into your Akashic records with that question and, learn how to do that for yourself, because there's no like formal training that you have to have just to access your own Akashic records. I mean, technically, you don't really have to have formal training to access other people's Akashic records, but you do need to have permission to access them from that person, because it's a big no-no to not have consent in that. So just be careful. Like, don't try to be like, oh, I'm going to go read the Akashic records of my person, or like that, I'm hearing like that person I hate. I want to know why they're such a jerk. Like, you're not that unless you ask.
Yeah, well, and the thing is like you won't get access to them anyways. Like, the information that you'll probably get is not correct information. So don't do things without permission. But if you want to look into your own stuff, then I definitely highly recommend looking into your Akashic records, whether that be through meditation by yourself, like using guided, or taking a course, or having somebody do it for you if you're comfortable with that. For your chakras here, I'm laughing because your first one is chakra balance, and it says harmony makes the song of life sweeter, and it has green jasper, turquoise, and labradorite. With those, the thing about this that's kind of making me chuckle is just because I saw the next card too, but I feel like, we just kind of talked about how you might have some dusty chakras. I feel like it's more about like balancing them out and like not relying too heavily on one over the other, but like making sure that you're taking care of your chakras and like clearing them. And I'm laughing because you got meditation.
Yep.
Crown chakra. And this is how light to see more clearly, close your eyes. So again, this group, very strong urge for meditation with this group. Like, if you are not already meditating, this group needs to meditate. Like, I know that there are some people that watch tarot videos that are not very spiritual. If you're not, I don't know that this is the pile for you. Because with this pile, there's so much about meditation and psychic ability that I almost feel like this pile, you would have to be somewhat spiritual in order to be in this pile. But I feel like with this group, like, I'm going to get into your crystals in just a second, but it's very much about meditation and going inward, but like also keeping it light is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Like, it's okay to search for knowledge. It's okay to, go inward and do this journey, but like, you're also being called to do this so that you find hope and you find peace and you find those things that help you remember, like, this is the reason why you're doing it. Like, there's hope because the reason why you're doing it is because you love XYZ, or because you have this gift that you really want to do. And I feel like with this group, it's very much about finding that hope and having patience and knowing, like, it's, you have gifts in this life and you have things in this life, you have dreams, and those dreams are worth exploring. And sometimes you kind of have to remind yourself of why you're here.
Yeah, and if you have passion and heart in whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be bound to find success because it's coming from a place of authenticity. So if you're doing something for the money, or because you think it's stable, or which I don't feel like this group would do in the first place, but if those are the reasons you're doing this thing, like, that's when you would need to stop and reevaluate and be like, okay, what are, like, you might, and even if you do end up finding financial success, you're not going to end up being happy because you went and you did it because it was stable, or because it gave you money, or because basically there's two sides to this, right? You shouldn't follow a get rich quick scheme, because that's not going to really pan out for you, because there's probably not a solid foundation. And you shouldn't do something just because it's stable. Like, and that, so for some of you, it's like, if you're feeling like, you're kind of going through this because you kind of have that inkling that you maybe didn't build the strongest foundation, And then you should go back and kind of like, again, seek the answers, meditation. Maybe it's just a simple tweak that you need to make. And then it's, okay, great, your foundation's solid now, it's set, and you keep going. But for a lot of you, I feel like you do have that strong foundation because we're getting so much about your upper chakras. And it's just about believing that you finally did build that strong foundation. And just because it's something that you love to do, actually that gives it more power than something that was, you know, quote unquote, traditionally stable, because it is bound to come back to you because you're putting your heart and soul into it and good vibes, and you're sending that out there. And so it is bound to come back to you. It's just waiting. That's really what it is. It's just waiting for that return.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we're going to get to your crystals now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the crystal and tell you the name, and then I'm going to read the cards like I did for every group. So the first crystal is agate. And then your second one is really pretty, is rose aura quartz.
Oh, pretty.
Again, very upper chakra.
I believe rose aura quartz is also a man-made crystal, but it's gorgeous.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with man-made crystals. That's another thing I forgot to say. Like, with man-made crystals, like, just because it's man-made doesn't mean it's not natural. So with the man-made crystals, usually it's made out of different components and different parts that make up a crystal, but it's still earth, like, if that makes sense, because it's still components that are composed of the earth. It's just that they were put together by man.
Yeah, like when you splice a plant, basically.
Yes. Okay, so agate. I'm going to try to hold it up. You're probably not going to be able to read it, but I'm going to read it for you anyways. So it's agate. It says stability, grounding, and truth. A stabilizing stone, agate is used to balance the mind, body, and spirit, creating harmony in all areas of your life. Our harmony again. Much like the pattern crystal itself. Grounding and supportive, agate helps to reveal inner truths, cleansing beneath the surface to expose your authentic self. A wonderful stone to heal resentment. Agate frees you from the self-imprisonment of inner anger, replacing it with safety and security. Agate takes its time, vibrating at a slow and steady pace, and encourages you to take as much time as you need for the matter at hand. Its sign is Gemini, and its planet is Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make this stuff up, and I don't read these cards before we read them together, so. Okay, rose aura quartz. Let's see if this is another mic drop here. We have heart's desire, love, and divine. The energy of love vibrates on a soul level, penetrating the body through its many layers of tissue all the way down to the cells. Rose aura quartz is a crystal of love with the ability to shift one's sense of self, provide nourishment for your growth, and transform fear and doubt into unconditional love, creating a strong bond to the universe. It creates a synergy between the pineal gland, located in the brain and associated with your third eye, and the heart chakra, infusing your intuition with space to give and receive more love. It's all zodiac signs, and its planets are the sun and the moon.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Actually, I do remember that crystal. I never really remembered its name, but I do remember reading about it one time and being like, this is probably always going to be one of my favorite crystals just because of what it does. And again, this is definitely another mic drop. And if you notice, that crystal color matches the hair on the magician like perfectly.
And
yeah, and in the chakra balance.
It even has the purple.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I really can't, guys. So I'm overwhelmed with this group. But basically, like, with this group, it's all about like being your authentic self and like knowing that it's enough. And like, even though it's taking time, because we know like that agate, it's all about like it takes its time, right? And like, even though it's been taking time and it's maybe been longer than you've wanted, or it's maybe not going the way that you planned, like, remember why you started this journey. Remember where you're at now, where you came from, and where you're going. And in doing so, find those things that you're passionate about and that you love, and keep chasing them, because you have made huge strides to get to this point. If you're at this point, if you're watching this video, you've already gone through so much to get here, and you have a strong foundation. You just have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. Okay. So that's what we had for your cards. I know that took a really long time, but again, Spirit really wants you to know this message.
Mm-hmm.
But
We'll
we're
try
gonna go
quicker with your charm.
yeah, we'll try to be faster with your charms. I can't make any promises because they do what they want. I'm actually gonna do this a little bit differently than I did for the first group, which is I'm just gonna drop some out. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it over here. Okay. And I'm gonna move this up a little bit so that you guys can see a little bit better. Okay. So the first one is It Is What It Is, which is hilarious because I got this charm because of the fact that Changkyun from MonstaX X, I.M, who we have in this reading, his phrase is I am what I am. And I remember I was thinking about that when I saw this charm. I was like, ha, that's really funny because it is what it is. And so I got this charm. But honestly, like, I didn't realize at the time what he meant by that. But now I'm really glad that I bought this charm because what that basically means, that phrase, like, I am what I am, or it is what it is. Like, you need to take things at face value sometimes and, like, know that there's not a deeper thing. Like, you know, it's okay for it to be enough as it is, and you are enough as you are. Like, you are who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if you can hear cars outside. That was a really loud one. You got play. You got the coin. That coin though.
Nice.
Yes. So you might have some abundance coming in. With play, you know, again, like keeping it lighter, doing things that kind of pull you out of like that heavy energy. You have the Big Ben, which is London. So if you have a strong connection to England in some way, whether that be, you know, you're from England or you know somebody in England or you want to visit England or you want to move there or, you know, you have ancestry there, whatever it may be, or maybe you have a past life there that you need again to go into like Akashic records or like past life reading for. You have the Elephant, which is all about wisdom and strength, stability, family. You have the Butterfly, which is all about transformation. And this one's wings are wide open. Oops, sorry. So for me, like, this is very much about like you've already taken flight and like you're already starting to fly. Like you've gone through a transformation and now it's time to take off. You got the cat. Black cat. So you could have a connection to cats in some way, whether that be you have a pet cat or your spirit guide's a cat or you have a familiar that's a cat or you really like cats or you need to embody cats. There could be a reason why that cat is coming out. And it's a black cat at that, which for me, again, like if you are spiritual, let's say you're somebody that resonates with like witchcraft. So like you think you're like a green witch or like a hedge witch or like a kitchen witch or something like that. Like black cats are actually, I think they're a symbol of good luck. A lot of people think they're bad luck, but I think that black cats are actually very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You have the seahorse, which came out in pile 1. But it's about creativity and, you know, sometimes leaning into it. I mean, the seahorse has to do with the inner divine masculine as well. But for me, like this group, like being creative and expressing yourself can kind of help you out of a darker place. I'm having problems holding on to things today. Okay. You actually have 2 keys. So for me, that's the key to your destiny. Or maybe there's a couple things you've been manifesting and you already hold the key to them. You just need to unlock it. like unlock that door, like allow yourself to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the starfish, which again goes kind of with that star about like having hope, dreams. You have the heart, and it's white, which for me is like the crown chakra. So like letting that surround you and kind of tapping into that chakra, like, you know, allowing yourself to be spiritual, I think is very big for this group. Like don't hide that away. And then the last one that you got that's not on your focus palm is Aquarius. So you could be an Aquarius or you could know an Aquarius that's important to you. You might have like a friend you need to reach out to that's an Aquarius, or you could be manifesting an Aquarius, but it says friendly on the back.
Yeah, and the star card is Aquarius. So again, another synchronicity for you if you are an Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. You also have on your focus palm. So it says optimistic. I'll turn it over in a second, but I think it fell out this way for a reason. You have optimistic, which is actually Sagittarius. But I feel like it fell out as optimistic for a reason. So staying optimistic during this time is really important, however you can. You also have the key ring. So you have multiple keys. So you already have everything you need. And then you have an H. So that could be important in some way. Like that could be an initial. It could be, you know, you might think of a word. The word that I think of is home.
Yep. Home, I heard home, heart, and also husband. Those were all things that popped into my head when I saw that. And hearth.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So very homey, like spending time on yourself. Like you are your own home, you know, like your body is your home for your soul. So treating it with respect is very important, for one, but also like finding a home, like finding a place that you consider home, whether that be, I mean, like for me, like home isn't a place, like a location, it's a feeling. So like for instance, like I have people that I consider my home. Sorry, again, having issues. I have people that I consider my home. And like for me, that just means that like when I spend time with them, I feel like I'm at home, I'm comforted, I'm able to be myself. And like I feel like that's important. If you've been manifesting a husband, this could be your pile. And you could be a lot closer than you think you are, considering your focus is there. But if you already have like a spouse, I feel like, you know, you focus on them a little bit this week and on your home this week or whenever. I guess it's not a weekly reading, but whenever you're watching this, it's a time to kind of focus on your home and your hearth and your husband and, you know, your heart, like anything that, you know, love, basically. Like focusing on things that you love is really important right now.
I also heard they said herbs. So for some of you who are into like natural medicine, if you like that, you know, you can look into that. That can be something that could be really uplifting for you right now, making like maybe like some your own teas or seasoning your foods with herbs that are good for you. Like just maybe growing a little garden, something like that. That could be some type of message for some of you.
Yes, definitely. We are going to go ahead and get into your BTS stickers. I know that this reading has taken a lot longer than the others, but I feel like you guys needed it. So sorry, not sorry. Okay, and I'm going to pull some stickers for you. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. They went that way. All right. So your stickers are super cute. I'm gonna go with the darker ones first, though. So the first one that we got that I want to go with is this one. So you guys might be really tapped into like your darker shadow side right now, and you might be kind of needing to lighten up out of that, or you might be going through like a dark period because this is like nighttime. You can see like the spotlights in the background though, and like it's like an X and an O, like the eyes. It's like one side is dark and one's not. I feel like it's very much about like balance And like if you are going through a really dark time right now, like it's going to be okay, and like there are those rays of light, and to kind of tap into those. You also got Mang on the rocking horse. So like your inner child might be kind of needing some attention right now. Again, like you got like play, and you got stuff about kind of like tapping into like lighter energy. So, you know, if your inner child is feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like maybe it's time to take a step back and do things to kind of help them, in the sense of like nurturing them in some way, and like kind of helping them find like joy again. And then you also have the Engi Shooky sticker.
You guys had that crystal that talked about was it agate, that about getting resentment. So you guys might have some resentments or things like, and this could be resentment towards others, but I'm getting a lot of resentment towards yourself, and a lot of anger about like, oh, I took too long, like, you know, this, but like you're right where you're supposed to be at all times. And so that could be, you know, you like, you know, beating up on yourself and needing to, again, scale back, be nice.
For sure. You got, okay, you got some cute stickers. So to move on, yeah, your inner child might be kind of sleepy right now. Like you might need to take a nap, maybe sleep more at night. If you are having a lack of sleep, like finding ways to help you sleep is really important. So again, that goes back to like herbs. That can go back to meditation. That can go back to like music therapy. Like there's a lot of ways that you can find to help if you're having trouble sleeping at night. You have, I'm assuming this is Jimin because it's yellow.
No, I think it's Junie.
Okay, well, Junie, the little hearts here. So with this, like, very much like, it's almost like you need like that warm hug of like love right now. And like because he's got like the little love in his palms, and you did actually you got the touch card, like about being able to touch things with energy. So I think, you know, maybe it's about like doing things with love for yourself too. Like you can heal yourself too. Like if you are having issues with your chakras, you can look into doing Reiki for yourself. Like it's possible to do that on yourself, to do energy healing on yourself, especially if you're someone that does have psychic touch, because that generally means that you have a strong like sense of energy, like healing energy in your hands usually, because that's how you usually can pick up on stuff like that. So this group, it might be important for you to do maybe some self-healing through Reiki, or to get a Reiki session or do something like that. These are so cute. Okay, you have 2 cookie stickers.
Cute.
Yes, you have the dancing one and the happy one with the peace signs.
Yeah, both of those are very optimistic. So again, shining through the city with a little funkin' soul.
Okay. You have Jim in here with his little ponytail.
Yeah, that's very inner child too.
Lots of inner child stuff going on. You have J-Hope, Hobie, with the word hope underneath. So again, like J-Hope is very expressive and energetic and colorful. But I feel like this is also talking about hope, and like your inner child is part of the key when it comes to hope.
Yeah, and Hobie himself always says things like, I'm your hope, you're my hope. Like, you know, so you don't know that you might be hope for someone else, and like you can let other things and other people be hope for you, but also like finding that hope in yourself. And like, you know, having hope right here, you have a lot to be hopeful for right here, because you also had that gratitude card about knowing what you have right now. Maybe it's not everything you want right now, but there is sometimes we forget, you know, and not even in a way of like, oh, you need to be scolded because you're so ungrateful. Like it's like, no, like that's not, again, going back to that thing about not holding resentment towards yourself because you're like, I'm not grateful enough and that's why things aren't happening. It's like, whoa, slow your roll, man. Like, be nice to yourself. But it's just more of, I really, sometimes I forget because we get like that as people. We get in our heads, and you have to be like, you know what? I have a lot to be grateful for, and I have a lot to look forward to. Like, there is no, you do not have to, just because not everything is not how you want it right now, doesn't mean that it won't be. And it doesn't mean that you're, in the wrong because you maybe forgot for a second. So I think right now, part of the slowdown is so that you can appreciate where you are and all the work that you have already done.
You got this really cute, like, surprised happy Koya. So I feel like, there is a lot of good, and there's a lot of things coming, and like you might have some surprises on the way. Like, there might be some things that you're not seeing right now because it's really heavy, but let yourself have imagination and let yourself dream and know that, like, those things, you haven't worked for nothing, basically. Like, if you're feeling really down and you're like, I just don't really know, like, yes, notice the things that are around you and be grateful for them, and like know that, like, look at where you came from and where you are now, but also understand that, like, you're going places, and like, even though it might not seem like it right now, like, you might feel really stuck, or you might be like, wow, this is getting really difficult, like, I don't know what to do. Like, there are still good things coming, and there are good things here.
I'm getting a line from Hamilton in my head right now, and I love Hamilton, so you'll hear a lot of references about it over the years, and I don't care. You're just gonna have to deal with it. But sticking out to me right now is the lyric that Eliza sings, and she sings to Hamilton because he's so future focused and he does not live in the present at all, and he's always thinking about where he's going and never where he is. And she always says to him, she says, look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. And that's something that I think, like, and I know, like, that's kind of like, really, that's what you're gonna say to me right now if you're watching this in Lifetime in the midst of 2020? Like, yes, it's been a very hard year, but also think about all the technology that's been coming out, all the new ways to communicate with people. Is it ideal? No. Look at all the people that are taking big leaps for themselves that they never would have taken because they've been stuck at home and they realize, I'm not happy with my job, or I'm not happy with this person, and I'm going to better myself and better my life. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, there are so many people who have, through this tragedy, found hope and found things that they want to, they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to change my life. And I think that that's, and I think that you guys did that this year. Like, with quarantine, I feel like you guys really did take advantage of the situation in the sense of, like, okay, this is not ideal, but I'm still going to work towards my goals and my dreams. And because, like, it's been probably a very tough year, and we're getting to the end, and you guys probably haven't seen any of the reward, I feel like you guys are getting a little bit discouraged. And this is just, Spirit reminding you, but, like, look at where, like Becca was talking about earlier, look at where you were and look at where you are now. Like, stop and breathe for a second and look at how lucky you are right now, because you did all of this yourself, like, for yourself. And there is going to be a payoff, even if it isn't right now. Like, because I know in that song that I'm thinking of, Hamilton's, like, really down on himself because he's like, he says something to Eliza about, like, do you relish being, like, a poor man's wife, like, unable to provide for your wife? And, like, she says, sorry, unable to provide for your life. And she says, she says to him, she says, I relish being your wife. Look at where we are. Look at where we started. The fact that you're alive is a miracle. Just stay alive. That would be enough. And so, it's about appreciating your life, appreciating where you are, appreciating where you've come from, appreciating you. And I think very much that is, like, I feel like that's a very big conversation for this group between, like, that, like, ego and your soul. And you need to, like, listen to that inner Eliza, like, that soul that's telling you, like, hey, look at everything that you have, though, and not, shame yourself, basically.
And the last sticker you have is Main dancing.
Yeah, so music's super important for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys picked that up, but music super important, dancing super important. So if you guys are very drawn to music, I would definitely recommend, like, when you're feeling certain ways, like, listening to music to either uplift your mood, or if you need to, music that you can empathize with. And like, I know there are a lot of readers and a lot of people that are spiritual that are like, oh, you got to be really careful about the content that you absorb, like when it comes to music and when it comes to like TV and when it comes to like movies and stuff. And in a sense, you do. But the thing is if you are having a tough time and you need to release, let's say you have some stuff that you're like, I really need to feel like somebody understands me right now, then you can listen to music that's not happy go lucky. Like, it's okay to do that. You're not ruining anything. You're not going to mess it up. You're not going to mess anything up. But it is also okay, like, if you're like, I really want to listen to something that would lift my spirits, like, or if it is one of those moments where you've been really struggling and you're like, I need to get out of this, like, you can find music that can help you feel better and like
Mhm.
get out of that funk. And we actually have playlists that we make. So if you guys would like to, there is a Third Eye Chakra playlist, and the link is actually down in the description below. If you want to go check that out, because you're a group that's related to music really well, you can. That has music that's related to the Third Eye Chakra. But there are also other things, like you can use Spotify, YouTube, whatever that may be, to find music that you can just kind of get up and kind of move to. And if at first, like, it's a slow dance and you're like, I don't really want to do this, like, you'll find eventually that that slow dance might turn into more. And like, you might start feeling like you want to move more because you feel that energy shake up. So I feel like
Mm,
that's really important for this group.
yeah, and just like what Becca said, like don't let other other people's opinions, even if there's someone you look up to, like even us, like if we ever give you advice and you feel like that doesn't feel correct for me, then please, by all means, trust your own intuition over us. Like we are not the end all be all. No spiritual person, creator, spiritual or not, no person is the end all be all over your own intuition. And so, if you know that like listening to sad music will help you cry it out so that you can get that release and heal, then do it. Like, don't let someone say, like, oh, well, you listened to that, so like you ruined your manifestation and you brought your energy down. Because for some people, that does work. And for other people, that does drag their energy down. They have to realize, no, that actually doesn't help me. It makes me feel worse. So I am going to listen to something that hypes me up instead. So you know yourself. And, no matter what anyone says, do what works for you.
Hmm. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on to the best part, in my opinion, which is our chakra deck. Um, I have been doing 4 cards um, per group, but the first group got 5, and then this group definitely got more than 5 because I just drew for you. But we'll go ahead and we'll get into them. So your first one is the crown chakra, and it is new. It's show new from MonstaX. And it says, don't be shy, just do it. It's better than regretting. Listen, you only have one life. Don't do what others want. Live the life that you want. And that's from Now or Never by MonstaX.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes beautifully with this group.
Mm-hmm.
You got Suga, Yoongi from BTS. It says, do you finally get it that giving it your best effort every time is what it means to do your best? And that's the throat chakra, and it's from Interlude Shadow.
I love that.
I know, I do too. You got the root chakra, young one. It says, I may fall down, but I can never give up. And that's from Fighter by MonstaX.
Fighter.
You got Jimin, sacral chakra from BTS. It says, I wanted to make a promise to myself. Even if life makes things difficult, I won't make things difficult for myself. I won't insult myself. That's a quote
Mm-hmm.
from Jimin.
I,
You got, oh, sorry.
no, I was just saying I love that quote. That obviously I love a lot of these quotes because we picked them, but like some of them really like hit me, and that's one of the ones that really hits me every time that we read it.
Mm-hmm. You have Juhani, sacral chakra. Don't live passively, which is a direct quote by him. And then the last one was the bottom of the deck, and it is the Soul Star Chakra, which is BTS. And it says you'll find it, the galaxy inside you, which is it's from Magic Shop by BTS.
Great.
You got so much about stars that just kind of fits it perfectly. So again, for this group, like, magic is everywhere, and like you have to believe in yourself because you've done all of this work. It wasn't for no reason. You know what the reason is, and the thing is it's about tapping in and understanding that like you only have this one life right now, like in the moment in time to live right here, right now. This is where you're at. Focus on where you are right now and know that, like, you know, things may be overwhelming if you look backwards or you look forwards or whatever that may be. But you have all of these things here now with you. Like, you have these gifts, these talents, these interests, these, you know, people that are around you right now, all of that stuff. Like, that's important. You're important, and it's important for you to keep going and to share who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what we had for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know it was really long, but I felt like this group really needed that. So let us know if it resonated with you. If you have anything you want to talk about, like, you know, reach out to us. We're always open for communication. Or if you want to book anything with us, let us know. But leave us a comment, a like, hit subscribe if you want to. You can check out one of the other groups. But that's what we had. So hopefully, you know, we'll see you for another reading, but we're going to go ahead and move on to pile 4.
Bye, guys.
Okay, if you chose pile 4, you chose this cute little cookie key ring. It's actually a Virgo key ring because Cookie's a Virgo. So if you're a Virgo, hi. But we chose it just because it was Jungkook. So
You're cute.
I know, it's super cute. This is going to be all about what your third eye wants to tell you. So this is we have some tarot, some oracle, some charms, some stickers, and then we also have our BTS MONSTA X deck that we created. It's a chakra deck, and it has lyrics or quotes from them on each card, along with a chakra, and either one of the members or the whole group, whatever that may be. But we will go ahead and we'll get started on what your third eye chakra is trying to tell you. So we'll start with your tarot cards. So right now you got, for your first one, you got Temperance. This deck is so pretty, but sometimes it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's very gorgeous, but very hard to see the darker card.
You got the Ruler of Wands, which is actually the King of Wands.
Okay.
You got the Star. And then the last one for this group is the Three of Cups.
Okay.
So what I'm picking up on for this group, nobody likes to see the Temperance card. Let me tell you, I get frustrated every time I see it. But the Temperance card is all about patience. And the Ruler of Wands, so the King of Wands is all about like sitting in your power and like having like creative energy and like creative power and like being very like, I think wands are also connected to spirit as well. So if you're very spiritual, this could be, you know, you could be in the right place. But I feel like we've been reading it very much with the other piles that like these two cards are together and like these two cards are together. So for me, this is very much about like right now you kind of maybe have to be a little bit patient about like maybe your creative energies that you've been working on. Or you're sitting in your power right now and you're kind of waiting for something to happen. Like there might be a sense of needing to pause or like kind of going through a period of time where you have to have a lot of patience with yourself, also with others as well. And that might be why you're kind of sitting in this power. Like you might have been going through this already and that's kind of leading you to this. But I also read this as you have the Star, which, hold on. Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze, but I'm not going to. So you have the Star, which is all about like hope and dreams and like, you know, having hope during hard times. So like if you are in a waiting period, that's about hope. And I think one thing that will help you get through this is leaning on others and like having that emotional support group as well. Because I think right now it's more or less talking about how like you're sitting in this power, you're ready to go, like things are, you're like, let's do this, I'm ready, like I have my power here, I'm sitting here with my creative energy, like I'm talking to spirit, I'm feeling really connected, really powerful. And I think spirit's just kind of like, okay, like you kind of have to be patient right now, and we know that like that's taking a lot of work, but stay hopeful and like lean on the people that are around you to get through this. Because if this is hard for you and you are having to go through this time of patience, like it's very much about like, we understand that, but keep your hopes up and know that like it's coming, like the things that you want to happen are happening, like your creative ideas are happening, just have faith in them, have faith in your dreams, have hope in that, and know that like if you're working with others, lean on others, help, let them help you, let them support you, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. I think that is very accurate, and I was not really picking up anything else. So I think that, basically Becca covered it all. And I think that, yeah, you guys just need to, as much as it stinks to hear, be patient and be gentle with yourself right now.
Speaking of gentle with thyself, we're going to get into your oracles. Your first one is nurturing thyself.
Yeah.
So yeah, this group, you need to be really nice to yourself right now. Because I feel like with this group, it needs to be said that not not everything is in control all the time. And like sometimes it's really hard because we're like, okay, well, am I doing something wrong? Like, is it my fault that something's not working out? Like, is there a reason that like I can't see it? Or like, is something holding me back? Like, I know for me, like that's a really big struggle sometimes, because like I am one of those people that's very hyper aware. And I know Lena and I kind of talked about this in another pile, but we both are kind of workaholics, and like we kind of like to make sure things are getting done and doing all that. And like lately we've been trying to kind of find a balance between like working and, spending time doing things that nurture our souls a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more. And like I do think that it's been helping a lot, and we're finding realizations now that we're doing that, and like letting go of things, and are in a much better position than we were, a few months ago, let alone now. Like I think that nurturing yourself is extremely important, and knowing that like, there are things that are out of your control, unfortunately. And like it's not your fault and you don't need to beat yourself up for it, because like right now it just could be that like other people might be, like if you're relying on other people in any way, or you have, situations where you are not like the only one involved, like I said, I'm getting that 3 of Cups, but it might be that like somebody else is dealing with something and that's causing a delay, or it might be that there's other stuff going on behind the scenes that like it is taking a little bit longer, but it's nothing that you're doing wrong. And so being nice to yourself and like understanding that like, hey, this isn't my fault, like, hey, the reason I'm here is not my fault, or like it is in divine timing, it's happening as it's supposed to. Like it's just that right now I have to be patient, and like that sucks, trust me. Like I understand 100%. Patience is my least favorite word in the entire universe. I hate it with a burning passion. But I know that, the more you nurture yourself during this time, the easier it's going to be for you to understand that like this is divine timing, and it's not necessarily just your divine timing. Like it could be relying on other people. It could be that, you have situations that are forming at a different time frame than you would like them to. And like, yes, that sucks a lot. And like it's okay to admit that, but it's not your fault, is
Mm-hmm.
basically what I'm saying. Like it's not your fault. So be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that it's okay, and that you know it's okay to one, be upset that it's taking a while. Like there's nothing wrong with that, for one. Like patience sucks. I'm just throwing that out there, sorry spirit, but it does. Like it's okay to be upset about it, but like it's also okay to like understand that you can have those days where like, okay, well, we didn't really get too much done today, but that's okay because I spent that time doing something that I loved. Because like you deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
You got freedom, And it says, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. You got a win-win outcome is in the forecast, which is full moon in Libra. So you might be a Libra, or you might have strong Libra placements. You got Council of Light, which is divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. So you have a strong team that's behind you. Move these over just a smidge. You got, for your chakras, you got Third Eye Chakra, Lepidolite, and it says signs. It says there will always be signs to guide you on your true path. So synchronicities are important for this group too. You got, hold on one second. Okay. You got Sacral Chakra, which is Peach Moonstone, fertility, let your life burst forth from the seeds of creation. And then you have 2 crystal cards. I'm going to show you what they are, and then I will read them to you. So the first one is Angel Phantom Quartz.
Ooh.
You know, it's very pretty.
It looks like a lava.
And then, I'm sorry.
I said it looks like a lava lamp.
Yeah, it does. It does look like a lava lamp. And then you have fluorite, which fluorite. Sorry, which is one of my favorite crystals.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have 2 fluorite towers right here.
Pretty. I have some fluorite too. I have a fluorite in the shape of a starfish. Actually, I love that crystal. I bought it that way.
Mm-hmm. So I will read these. So the first one is the Angel Phantom Quartz, and I'm gonna hold it up. You probably won't be able to read it, but I'm gonna read it to you, so it's okay. It says, faith, healing, and renewal. Acting as a direct connection to the spirit realm, Angel Phantom Quartz provides a profound relationship with your spiritual team. It aids in overcoming trauma, addressing inner child wounds, healing repressed memories, and alleviating negative emotions that have been haunting you from the past. With this awareness, Angel Phantom Quartz allows you to release yourself from trapped memories to gain your own personal freedom. Empower yourself and write your own story, despite whatever has happened to you in the past. You owe that to yourself. The sign is Capricorn and the planet is Moon. So you could be Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Have Capricorn in your chart. We have Fluorite, which is organization, clear, and priorities. Structure can provide freedom, and fluorite helps organize your life from top to bottom, heightening focus and releasing unnecessary stress. Fluorite assists with bringing clarity into your life, lifting your mental capabilities for crystal clear intuition and empowered decision making. By taking your discernment up a notch, fluorite protects against bad influences and psychic manipulation. Fluorite both grounds and lifts your energy, connecting your body to the earth and to higher spiritual awareness at the same time. Prioritize balance. Once again, that Libra card came into play. The signs are Capricorn and Pisces, and the planet is Mercury. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. So for me, from what I'm gathering, is that again, like you are in that creative power. You actually have like all of the colors in here. So for me, I feel like your chakras are actually really balanced. Like I feel like you do a pretty good job of keeping them balanced, keeping them clear. For me, like I feel like this is very much encouraging you to kind of connect with your spiritual team a little bit more. It's kind of what I'm getting, because you have like the Council of Light, you have like signs, like both fluorite and the Angel Phantom Quartz talk about connecting with spirituality in your spiritual team. Again, I said this in the last group, and I'm going to say it again in this group. If you chose this pile, you're probably already on the spiritual journey in some sense. So if you are in this pile and you don't feel like you are spiritual, then this is probably not the right pile for you. But take what resonates. But I feel like it's all about, like, you already know all of this stuff. Like, you already know how to nurture yourself. You already know how to create freedom. You already know kind of about manifestation, about, like, you know, different spiritual things. Like, you already know about different types of gifts that you possess. Like, you might already be in the process of learning new things. Like, I feel like you're already doing all of that, and spirit just kind of wants to hear from you a little bit more, is kind of what I'm picking up on. Like, they want you to know, one, that they're here for you, and that they are supporting you, even when sometimes it may not feel like it. That they're still here, and that they're always listening, and they're always, protecting you, because again, like with fluorite, you have that protection, you have council of light. Like, I feel like they're very much trying to make their presence known to you, and that they're here. And I think they're also just trying to get you to tap into like your more childlike energies, which has been a theme through all of these. So with your third eye, like I think your third eye is telling you like you already have a pretty good balance on things, and it's more about making sure that you're still tapping into yourself and into your heart and into what you love, and leaning on that when you really need it.
Mm-hmm. What I was going to say is, and I wish I had said it, because then like we got that crystal card and it said Capricorn. I was going to say that I was picking up a lot of Capricorn energy from this group, and Becca had already mentioned Virgo for the pile topper. And I remember a few weeks ago I was telling Becca, I said the thing about Capricorns is, and I have a Capricorn stellium, so I can say this, and this is not an insult at all, because I actually really like Capricorns. I mean, I like every zodiac sign, like, but the Capricorns, I told her a couple weeks ago, I said Capricorn is both the, they are both like it's almost like they're both the, like, what was it that I said? Like the bully and the, not a bully, but like the strict boss, that's like really hard on you, and like, like, and the, the overworked assistant. So like they are the one that is constantly like, that's why they're the devil card. I mean, part of it is because they are the ones that they like give you all, like they put a lot of pressure on you, a lot of opportunity, like a lot of vices, like they give you all those things, and then at the same time they're also chained to like their desk, or like the thing that they've put themselves in, because they are so hard on themselves. Like if you, probably almost any Capricorn that you've ever met, or anyone that has Capricorn strongly in their chart, you'll know one thing about them is that they're extremely hardworking, and they are also extremely hard on themselves. And so even if you don't have Capricorn in your chart, that's the vibe that I get from this group, is that the reason that spirits like, stop, slow down, nurture yourself, reach out to us, let us comfort you right now, let us be there for you, is because of the fact that you guys are so very hard on yourselves, and you guys are so very like I said, you guys are both your boss, you're your own boss, and you're your own overworked assistant too. So like you need to, give yourself those benefits, make sure you're getting paid well, and like obviously, like I'm being facetious when I say that, but payment is energy. So giving yourself that energy back, filling your cup back up, instead of just always going and pouring and pouring and pouring out of your cup until you're bone dry, you're just going to be exhausted, probably feel depleted and hopeless. And that actually could be part of why you might be feeling like this. Like that's a vibe that I'm getting, is like maybe you have been overgiving, and you need to put up boundaries, and you need to say, hey, I need time for me. Like I need you to like get off my butt, basically. Like, and that could be to yourself. Like you could be to yourself, I need you to get off my butt, self, and let me live. And then for some of you, there might be people in your life that are used to you always taking the hit and the brunt, and always carrying the workload. And it's okay to say, hey, I need help, I can't do all of this by myself. Like I need people to, or just being like, I need comfort right now, I need to feel loved, I need to, because for some of us, like we might be in a situation where we really can't say that right now because we're not in a place to, but you can go to other people and say, it was a really rough day today, I need some comfort and some care. Or you can go to spirit and you can say that. Mm-hmm. Sebastian agrees with me.
My cat agrees. He says, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, definitely. I feel that very strongly for this group. Like, taking care of yourself is very important. And like, it is really hard sometimes to reach out to people and to tell them that you just need somebody there. Like, that you need somebody to, hug you. Like, you literally, like, hugs are, okay, I'm not going to get on my soapbox because I know like with the last group, it was really a really long reading. But basically, right now with the state of the world that we're in, if you're watching this real time, like hugs are so needed and they can't be given. And that's one of like, I just have a huge deal with that right now because physical touch is one of my love languages. And so for me, like the idea of like sometimes all you need is a hug, and like knowing that right now that's almost impossible for some people, like it's very stressful, because sometimes all you really need is somebody to hug you or to hold you or to, like give you that physical touch or to give you like, compassion or, attention or affection in some way. And like there's nothing wrong with needing that or asking for it, but I know like for me, for example, like I do have a hard time sometimes asking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for saying like I need a hug right now, or I really need somebody to just like hold me for a little bit, or I need someone to give me some attention because I'm struggling and I really just need that right now. Like I need it's hard. It's been a hard day and I just want someone there. Like that's really hard sometimes to say, and I feel like this group needs to know that it's okay to say that. And like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to even admit that to yourself. Like it's okay like if you're like I've been really hard on myself and I haven't been able to ask for help, or I don't know how to ask for help. And like
Mm-hmm.
the thing about that is knowing that, you know what, it's going to be okay. And the first step to asking for help is to just try. Like, maybe that's today you reached out and said hello. And maybe that's like tomorrow you tried and you said, hello, how are you? And then the next day it's, hey, how are you? I'm struggling a little bit, and it goes like step by step. And so you might need some time to build up to that. Or you could just, maybe you'll find yourself going to them and being like, hey, you know, let's say you're talking to your best friend or something and you're really struggling and you're like, I don't want them to know that I'm struggling. I'm fine. I really got this. It's not a big deal. Like, it is a big deal for one. Like, if you're struggling with something, like, don't minimize that for yourself. Like, don't make it less just because you feel like you should be able to deal with it. That's because that's not healthy. But, it's okay to go to those people that you trust and say, like, hey, I'm having a really hard time today. And I don't know exactly what I need, or I don't know exactly what I want, or I don't know exactly what I even expect, but I need someone to be there for me, however they can be. And like knowing that that person is there is going to really, I know for me, like sometimes that's all I really need is to know like that person is willing to be there and is like, okay, well, I don't know what you need either, but I can try my best. Like, like I will do what I can and I will try to, cheer you up, or I will try to, if you don't want cheered up, I'll try to hold your hand, or I'll watch something with you, or I'll, listen to something, or we can just talk, whatever that may be. But knowing that that person is there, those people are there for you, and like that you can go to them and you don't have to be afraid of that. And it's just very comforting. And I feel like this group, that's something that you need, is that comfort.
Mm-hmm. Um, really quick because again, like we don't want to spend another like long reading. But just I watched basically like the what you guys need is you need someone who in your life, or even if you don't have a someone and you really feel like, no, I don't have anyone like that in my life, know that spirit will always, either it's someone in your life or it's spirit themselves, but they will always hold space for you to cry to them, for you to say this is really hard, for you to have a bad day. Like, you need someone to hold that space for you. And I watched a really great video by this YouTube channel that we both watch, and her YouTube channel name is Indigo Mystery. And she did like a more chatty video recently where she was talking about some of the things that she's been going through and how important it is for people to like hold space for other people and to not and she was talking about herself and how like at one point in her life she had these like old wounds, and that she had a guy friend who came to her for advice, and she realized, and like she was projecting on him, like kind of like she said I was being high and mighty in my power. And sometimes we do reach out to people and that's the response that we get. It's like and so we don't feel heard. And she said that her guy friend gave her so much wisdom that day, because he said, I didn't come to you because I wanted to be lectured. I came to you because I wanted comfort, because I wanted support. And so if you have people in your life that go into like, you know, fix it mode, or like they try to solve the problem for you because they care about you, or they don't listen to you, you know, it is okay for you to say, hey, I don't really know exactly what I need, but I need support. And like that, like, it's not that you're a jerk or anything like that, but like, I don't need you to fix my problem for me. And I think that that's a thing that sometimes happens a lot, is that people care about you so much that they want to fix your issues. And in doing so, you know, unfortunately, a lot of the time it doesn't end up really helping you, because you see them start to get frantic because they can't fix it for you. And then a lot of the time, then you end up like being like, oh, it's okay, never mind, I got it. You know, and I feel like you, like I said, you guys are the group that knows how to be the boss and the assistant. So when you're the, you know, overworked assistant who goes to, you know, let's just say like their mom and says, Mom, I'm really tired and I'm stressing, and your mom's like, well, I'm gonna go and write a note, and you're like, no, like, calm down, like, I don't need you to fix it, I just need you to be here with me and like watch this Hallmark movie, you know. If you have someone who goes in that direction, I feel like for you guys, like, that's really not helpful. You don't need someone to fix it. And it's like I said, sometimes, like, you know, you just need a hug, or you just need something really simple. And, you know, that's what holding space is for people. It's not about you trying to fix someone else's issues. Like, it is about you just being there. And again, like Becca brought up love languages, and she talked about that in that in that video, about how important it is to A, know your own love language, and B, know the love language of your loved one, so that you can offer them the support that they need. Because, like, I know that she said for her, touch is not one of her love languages. If she's crying and stuff like that, she doesn't want to be touched. But for someone else, it is that is their love language. And so your love language is not going to be the same as the person you're trying to help, and then vice versa. So what works for you might not work for them. So, you know, like, and that's kind of, again, about knowing that, and knowing yourself enough to say, hey, maybe I don't know the exact thing that I need you to do or say, but I can tell you that my love language is this. And you can kind of let them express that in their own, you know, their own way. Or like, you know, just, again, like I said, I feel like this group is really good about, like, if you express how you're feeling and you don't get back the love language responses you need, you're very good at going back into that boss mode and being like, no, it's okay, I got it, don't worry about it. Because you don't want to put someone out, and you don't want to rock the boat by telling them, like, hey, I don't need you to fix me, I just need your support. And I think it's very hard to say that, and I know that I struggle with that. I'm very, very, very good at, you know, like I just said, going to my mom being like, I'm struggling with this, and she wants to fix it and give me advice and like do this and do that and da da da, and that. You know, it's very hard for me to be like, Mom, I don't need you to fix it, I just want you to sit here with me and like hold me and make me feel better, or like make me some tea, or like, you know, let me know you were thinking about me because you bring me, like, you know, a cookie on the way home, like from work that day, or like, you know, things like that. Like, those are the little things that make me feel like loved and cared about. And so, you know, like, again, I don't want to spend this whole reading, like I said, like us talking about ourselves, but I'm just trying to give you a full like example of what maybe you guys are going through. And anyway, like I said, I'm going to cut it off there because it's long enough.
Mhm. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into your charms. Don't mind my sticker bucket there. Gonna try not to get a ton of charms out there, but we'll see kind of what lands where it lands. Okay, so I'm gonna count that on there and take that off. We'll get that in a second. Okay, so let's see what your charms are. So the first thing that we have are some letters. So we have a D, we have an H, and we have an L. So those could be initials. DHL, isn't that there's a company called DHL. Anyways, that could be important for you. Or it could just be that.
That's for businesses. Like it's a something to do with the DHL, like something that you need to have a business. I think.
Yeah.
Quote me on that.
If you know, let us know what that is. But that stood out. But they also could be initials of you or someone that's important to you, or they could make you think of words. We had H in the last group, and we thought of home. We thought of a lot of words that go with H, but home is coming up again. So going someplace you feel like home, especially when you need nurturing, like whether that's a home within yourself or within other people. Um, you have L, love sticks out to me for that.
Yeah, dream, hope, laugh. Those all come to mind too.
Mhm. You got this came out in one of the other groups. You got the I love you postcard. So you might be getting some messages here pretty soon. Or, like maybe you've been exchanging messages with somebody, or you have, people that you can reach out to online or via mail. I mean, snail mail isn't really used that much anymore, but, maybe you have a pen pal. Um, or it could just be communication. That could be really important to you, like communicating how you feel, like we just went over for how long. But I feel like that's really important for this group. You got one, and this also came out, I think, in group one. But one is all about the self for me. It could be a life path number, it could be a lucky number, it could be a number that you really, like that means something to you. But for me, when I see a one, it makes me think of like your number one, like I'm number one. Like you are your number one, and like it's about taking care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You got Hello Kitty.
I used to love watching Hello Kitty when I was a kid.
I had a small Hello Kitty collection growing up. I even have a Hello Kitty bank that's from Mexico, actually. My sibling, when we were little, we used to, not little, but like when we were in high school, our church used to do these trips, their mission trips, and we would go down to Mexico and we would build houses. And one year when she went down there, she brought back a Hello Kitty bank for me from Mexico. So I have a ceramic bank that was made in Mexico that's Hello Kitty. It's super cute.
Oh, about Hello Kitty.
Uh-huh. You have the star. This is actually the Star of David. So, if you are uh, Jewish or you celebrate Hanukkah, like that's coming up right now when we're filming this. So just know, hi, that could be confirmation for you. But when I see the star, it makes me, again, you guys had the star, but it's all about hope and dreams and like believing in, yourself and in your dreams and in your future and like knowing that things are going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
A key. You have the key to your destiny. You got grapes, which are a huge sign of abundance. So you might have some abundance coming in. You might be manifesting that. And that's actually super exciting to get in a reading that
Mm-hmm.
may be coming. You have the flamingo, which I actually don't remember what the flamingo means. Maybe you do. I know balance is part of it.
Yeah, the flamingo is balanced, and I always think of the card from that one oracle that's like between worlds, but like I'm trying to think like spiritually, it's not coming to me, but I know for me again, like it is about balance and that between worlds because the flamingo stands on one leg, and so it is, I think it's about, learning to balance between two worlds, like between the spiritual and the non-spiritual, and finding that balance for you guys.
Hmm. You got hello. So again, your spiritual team wants you to know that they are here. Like they are here for you whenever you need them, whenever you want them, even if you don't think you need them and you're like, I want to talk. Like they're like, okay, hi. I'm getting that very strongly with this group. Like your team very much wants you to know they're here and to reach out to them if you need them.
Mm-hmm. Hello, it's
Uh,
me.
I know. I was like, Adele is coming to mind. Or it could be the hello, is it me you're looking for? Yes. You got the turtle, which
Yeah.
for me, turtle's all about like slow and steady wins the race. They're, very go with the flow creatures.
Mm-hmm.
You got this came out in another group too. You got it is what it is.
Hmm. Also about the turtle represents one in MonstaX X, and he is a Capricorn. So again, lots of Capricorn energy.
Huge Capricorn energy in this group. You also got Sagittarius, and it did come out with Sagittarius up, right? So you might have Sagittarius in your chart, or Sagittarius might be important. Maybe you're manifesting a Sagittarius. On the back, it says optimistic, which this came out in the last group as well. Again, just to see if there are some synchronicities for you. And then on your focus palm, your focus moon, you got a couple different things. The seahorses actually come out a lot today, and this is a different one than last one. The seahorse is all about creativity and fertility, but for me, like fertility is in like creative fertility, like ideas in the mind. And you did get stuff about fertility as well. If you are somebody that's trying to have a baby, that could be a really good omen for you. Um, if not trying to have a baby, maybe you should think about using protection right now because you might be really fertile. If that's something that you need to worry about, I would be protected. But otherwise, I think this is very much about like creativity and like using your creativity in your inner self and like expressing it to the world.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the number 3. So that could be a really important number for you. Could be a life path number. It's also a divine number. Number 3 is the number of the Holy Trinity, if you believe in that. But 3 is very spiritual in the sense of like it's just generally known as a spiritual number. It's a very good sign. It's also a number about your guides being with you. So if you see like 333 a lot, that's your guides telling you that they're there and that you're on the right path and that they're supporting you. So again, support from your guides. And then you also got Aquarius and it's upright like that. So you might have strong Aquarius in your chart. Again, we got the star. This also came out in the last group. So if you were drawn to pile 3, it is a little bit longer. So I'm going to warn you right now. But if it is something you were drawn to, I would recommend checking it out if you have the time, even if you want to put it on in the background while you're doing other things. Um, then I recommend checking it out because there were some pretty important messages in there, and there's some synchronicities between 3 and 4. So keep that in mind. But the back of Aquarius is friendly. So again, like reaching out to your friends, like being open and like understanding and like knowing that it's okay to ask for help or to ask for what you need, even if they don't know right away what you need. If you're able to kind of tell them like, hey, that's not what I need, or hey, I actually really need this right now. Like that could even make a whole world of difference too. So if you are someone that struggles with that, like it's okay to say that. And like if you can't say that at that time, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like if you need to say, okay, well, I need a minute, or I'll come back to this in a little bit. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that either. So just know that whatever you can do for yourself, like reaching out wise, is enough. And like don't beat yourself up if you're not able to ask for those things in that moment in time, because sometimes we just can't. Like it's just part of being human sometimes. But it never hurts to try either. But that's what we got for your charms. Let's do your BTS stickers. Let's see what we get. Hold on.
You please, Spirit.
Yeah, just a few would be great. Not like the whole shebang like last time. Okay. One more. I was like, there's one more that wanted to come out. Okay, and that's not that many. Good job, Spirit. I'm proud. Okay, so we have. Okay, there's a lot of energy in this group. Okay, I'm gonna start with this one. So this is Tata. He looks perplexed. A little bit stressed out there. So again, like you might be really kind of feeling a little bit down right now. Like he almost looks like he's just like, like I get this sense of like kind of sad, but kind of like confused, but kind of exhausted.
Yes, and Tata's also a Capricorn.
Yeah. Capricorn energy. Yes. So if you're a Capricorn, hello. Hi, you're loud and clear in this group. But this could be like contemplating, like you might have a lot on your mind and you might just really need to express it. Is kind of what I'm getting from this. You got all of the BTS boys. I'm trying to see exactly what's going on in this card. Um, they're all with their BT21 characters. They're actually super cute, but they're just doing like daily things. But it says BTS Love Yourself Charm. So this is like charms that were made. I should see if I can find these. But for me, this is all about like your soul tribe or like your friends or those that you care about, like all doing things together, but like that nurture yourselves. So like for instance, like each one is doing things that make them happy, but they're all here. So for me, that's very much about like tapping into like your creative side and tapping into your inner child and tapping into all of the things that make you happy, but knowing that like you can do that with other people, or finding those differences in each other but still like enjoying those things with each other. So like that might mean that you and a friend go on a call and you're both doing different things, but you're taking the time to like hang out with each other, because I know right now like you can't really go over and hang out with people. So like it might be easier for you to do like a Skype call or something, and then like who knows, maybe you guys, like one of you is knitting and the other one is drawing while you guys both watch the same movie together. Like that could be something. So it's just a matter of like doing those things that make each other, you make each other but yourself feel happy, and like it's okay to say, right now I kind of want to do this, but I also want to hang out with you, and like knowing that it's okay and like you guys can come to a compromise, but like spending time with people is really important, not isolating. You hungry Shooky? So for me, that's all about like, maybe you need to eat a little bit better. Like maybe you haven't been eating the best, or like you have been not eating enough, or you're just feeling really like down. It's okay to treat yourself for food sometimes. Like it's okay to in moderation, everything in moderation always. But like if you're not eating enough, like one thing with that is make sure you're doing things that nourish you. Take care of yourself even on days when it's hard, because I know like some days it gets really hard and you're like, I just don't feel hungry, I'm stressed out and I don't want to do this, and like it's about doing it anyway, and like
Mhm.
knowing that like, okay, I am hungry right now and I need to eat because my body needs it, my mind needs it, my soul needs it, and like allowing yourself to do that. But this could also be hungry for knowledge as well. Like maybe you're hungry for knowledge, or maybe you're hungry for affection. Like hungry doesn't always mean for food.
Yeah, I was getting hungry for change off of that sticker. So a lot of you are hungry for like things to move. You're tired of being stagnant.
Yeah, speaking of tired, I think this group needs to rest. Not only like sleep wise, because yes, I do agree that this group needs sleep because I feel very tired, but I feel like this group also needs to rest in the sense of resting your soul, resting your spirit, resting, by doing things that nurture yourself and nourish yourself, like things that are not work for you, like taking a nap, taking a shower, taking a bath, eating something really good, having some hot chocolate if you're in a cold place, like watching a Hallmark movie, watching something funny, listening to some good music, dancing, going to the gym, like doing anything that can help you rest and kind of get out of your own head is kind of what I'm getting off of that.
Meditating, talking to spirit, leaning on your guides, leaning on all those things.
Everything. Tata, again, Capricorn, with his little hearts everywhere.
Yeah, you guys are givers. You guys give lots and lots and lots and lots of love out.
Yeah. And like there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to give to yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
um you have Chimmy running. And he's a little panicked.
Yeah.
For me though, this is more of a I don't even know how to explain the feeling that I'm getting off this sticker. Like, I don't feel negatively about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's like running full force, and like maybe you've been running really, really, really fast, like into this future, and like even though like sometimes it may not feel like it, like you may be like, "What are you talking about? I haven't been moving at all." Like if you were to look backwards, you're probably going to be like, "Whoa, okay, I did do a lot. Like I've gotten, and maybe it's about slowing down or needing to slow down and just breathe for a second."
Mm-hmm.
You got thumbs up, Chimmy. So I feel like this is a sign like, you're doing great. Like you're on the right path. Everything's going exactly how it's supposed to. And we talked about that with your tarot cards already. Like you're kind of just in like that temperance space where you kind of have to have patience with yourself and with others and hope. And that kind of sucks. But like, you're not doing anything wrong. Like you're doing a great job. This is the universe's and spirit's way of being like, you're doing great. Like just keep going. And then you got two cookie stickers, and they're both extremely cute, and it hurts me. You got this little cookie that's clapping. And then, I think, actually, no, he's holding something, but I can't see. I think it's a microphone. You got cookie with a microphone, and then you got little cookie with a little costume. So inner child, doing things that make you happy, like maybe singing is really important for you. Like maybe that's something that kind of helps you release some emotion, or maybe it just helps you kind of raise your vibe sometimes, or maybe that's a form of communication for you.
Or speaking your truth, that could be very important for you right now.
And then this one's all about the inner child and like leaning into that energy, like that childlike free spirit, like allowing yourself to let loose and be free and play. So those are your stickers. So the last thing that we have for you guys is my favorite part, which is the chakra cards that we made. They're BTS and MONSTA X themed. Each one of them has a member or all of the members, and then it has lyrics or a quote on them from them as well. So we're going to go ahead and see what they have to say. Give me 1 second here. They're being very picky right now. Okay. The first one is the crown chakra. It's Namjoon. It says, "Who am I? The question I had my whole life, the question which I probably won't find an answer to my whole life." And that's from Persona, which is his song. I love Persona. So good. But that's very much like you might have been doing a lot of soul searching, and like you might be like kind of like right now. And I feel like that's just kind of one of those things where it's like you are going to constantly change in your life, and like it's okay. But one thing I think that they're trying to encourage you to do is to look back on your life and to see how much you have changed, where you've come from, and like to understand that like no matter what, like even right now, like who you are right now is not going to be who you are a year from now. And so like take this time while you have it, and like know that it's okay to take a step back for now and just nurture yourself, and to like know that every step you take, you are coming into a new version of you, and the more love you give yourself, the more you're going to just thrive and move forward and transform, and it's beautiful. Being super picky. Okay. We have cute. We have Minhyuk, solar plexus. "Look around you, you're shining, shine forever," which is by MonstaX. It's Shine Forever, their song. You can't really see those very well. You also got the heart chakra. This is Wonho. He's a soloist now, but he was in MonstaX X. "The selflessness of loving someone so much that you'll become one with them, and they become even more important to you than yourself." And that's a direct quote. And then we'll do, let's see if they only want to do one more, if they want more than one. Okay. Oh, yep, I thought so. Okay, you got 3 more. So you got Min again. Solar plexus. I decided to love myself. So please, everyone, you love yourself too. It's a direct quote. Self-love is super important for this group. You got Tay, heart chakra. I want to hug the many thorns and the budding rose, the smiling kid, the child who is always laughing brightly when I see you like that. I can't help smiling. It's from Inner Child by BTS, which I'm not surprised that came out. And then finally, last but not least, you got Jin, root chakra. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. And that is a quote from him.
They said deck. They said flip the deck.
Okay, it was already flipped up to see the bottom.
Oh, well then. So take the top.
Okay. Yeah, this one showed up earlier when I was shuffling. It says, throat chakra. When you call my name, when you give me a small smile for letting me walk with you in your day, I like you, so I'm singing for you. It's from I'll Be There. Mm-hmm. So again, your guides are there for you. So with this group, I feel like it's really important, you take care of yourself, nurture yourself, love yourself, which is a great album by BTS, by the way. But, I think it's very, very strongly like your guides are here with you. They're always here for you. Create that space for yourself and let others create that space for you. If you need support, there's always someone here, whether you need to reach out to a friend, a family member, to spirit themselves. Like, no matter what, you are never alone. And, be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself. And I know, like, we say that a lot, but I know that a lot of people struggle with putting themselves first and with understanding that, like, it's okay to take care of yourself before you take care of other people.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with that. And I think it's very important for this group to do such a thing. So please do that. And I think with that, we have talked your ear off long enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. So with that, leave us a like, a comment, hit subscribe. If you want to check out one of the other pilots, please do so. Otherwise, we have other readings going on that you can check out. If you haven't seen the other videos from the series, we do have a playlist on our YouTube channel, which I believe is linked below somewhere. If not, I will link it somewhere below. So check out that playlist if you have not seen our other readings yet. Next week is the final chakra, which is the crown chakra. I cannot believe it. And we're already to this point. I'm so sad, but also super excited. Yeah. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully we see you next reading. But otherwise, we hope you have a good week, a good month, a good whenever you're here, whenever you're watching this. We love you. We care about you. Let us know if you need us. But that is what we have for you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.